Hello! It's another clear night. So we are searching for a UFOs UAP, and I am running slightly late, so I run up the stairs, and now I'm out of breath. God, I need to get to the gym. So, let's breathe. Right, yes, let's breathe. And we are doing a live UFO UAP Skywatch tonight. There, Zen is already in. How are you doing? We're coming to you live from Wiltshire in the UK, which is right in the heart of crop circle country and just down the road from Stonehenge. So lots of strange and anomalous things in these skies. We've already got some movement tonight, guys. Should we zoom in on a couple of those to start with? Where is it? There, let's have a look. There we go. Remember, keep your eyes on these. We need to see them do something strange. How you doing, G-Wag? Thank you for the gifts and feeding Alan.
Nom nom nom. Thanks, guys.
So yeah, it's going to be a busy night, I think, tonight. Try and catch my breath ever so slightly. We've got Jupiter coming in big, bright and purple as always. Absolutely lovely there. Have we got any more movement? I can't. No, we've still got that one coming across the screen right there. I'm just going to turn off some devices to make sure we have enough bandwidth, because for some reason we are pushing the limits tonight. It seems to be... There's a lot of stuff going on over the network. Very frustrating there. Rob is in as well. How are you doing? Oh, that was a shooting star. Straight away, that's a good kick-off to the stream. There, Lee is in as well. How are you doing? Tonight, good to see you. Yeah, so we are doing a live UFO UAP Skywatch tonight. Oh, that is a bright one coming across the screen there. Let's see if I can zoom in on that one.
Zoom mode activated.
So let's zoom in on this bad boy. So, right, we're going to be seeing lots of objects in the night sky exactly like this. Oh, it's a faint one just to it there as well. And for us to tell that apart from all of the other objects up there, the satellites, the space junk, there's 1, 2, look at how faint those two are, but they're still there. The skies are absolutely alive. But for us to tell that a UAP versus just one of the many man-made satellites up there, we need to see it do something strange there. Stop dead, shoot off its speed, change its course, its trajectory, something like that will tell us that what we're looking at is a little bit more strange indeed there. We're all good, Lee. How are you doing? Carl is in as well. How are you doing? You getting excited for your holiday, Carl? There, DJ, good to see you. How's it all going? Thank you for the heart there. So yeah, we're doing a live UFO UAP Skywatch tonight, and the sky is lovely and clear again, as it has been the last few nights, and we have seen some very, very interesting things indeed. So as long as we keep our eyes peeled, I'm sure we're going to see much more anomalies. Which mouse? There we go. Many more anomalies as the night
zoom mode activated
goes on. Right, we've got this one coming in. There we go. Look at some of the blues and the oranges, the purples. Absolutely stunning, the colours of these stars. So they're all stars like our sun. I said some bigger, some brighter, some hotter, some cooler. Some of them burn different gases and things like that, and that is how you get the different heats, temperatures, sizes and coloration there. Depending on what it's burning, that will dictate the sort of light that it emits around those other worlds. If they have a plant life, as is looking very, very probable and very, very common that there is some form of a life around those distant worlds there, but they're not. Their plants might not be green. So our plants have developed on this planet with green there, because basically it's filtering out the green light waves from our star, which is a pretty white star there, so there's a lot of white light, full spectrum. But around a red dwarf where it's a deeper orange, you probably would get different colours. Those plants, depending on what light they are absorbing for photosynthesis there. Private Tomcat is in. And how you doing, Rob, as well there? We're all good. We're all good there, DJ. Nervous, but looking forward to it. Honestly, I get that. I never used to be nervous of flying. But the last time I went, and God, that is actually going back a good few years now, I wasn't expecting it, but I had proper vertigo on it, and I didn't realise he was on that little tunnel to the plane, and that was not a pleasant experience. So I'm nervous of that again, but I'm sure you will be fine, Carl. There, C1, Jasmine, good spot in there. Should we have a look? There we go. So we need, again, guys, to see it do something strange. We need to keep our eyes on it. We need to follow it across the screen, and therefore, hopefully see it behave in a way that a satellite just can't. They're falling to Earth in a big circle. There's even a faint one coming up there in a big circle, and every loop around the globe they're getting ever so slightly closer, and then when they start to get into our atmosphere, the friction, the heat of that slows them down, and then they fall a lot faster. So about once a month, most satellites, until they run out of fuel there, will just go and push themselves up a little bit to prevent them from falling back down to Earth there. But essentially, they are falling in a big circle, so those speeds remain pretty consistent for us monitoring them down here on the ground. So we need to see whatever this object is up there. We need to see it do something strange for us to be able to say that it is definitely a UFO, definitely something anomalous there. Agent X is in. How are you doing? Thank you for the heart there as well. A2, is that the Big Dipper? So A2, where are we on the thing there? So I don't think it is. I think the Big Dipper is a little bit more like that way around at the minute. But it is now visible. It is over the house at night. I see it often, but I don't think we've kind of got the camera on it tonight there. Maybe we'll have to do that at some point, because one of the stars in the dippy bit of the Big Dipper, well, I think it's the bottom right one that marks the outline of the Big Dipper, there is a star that we can't see with the human eye just to the south of it, which is one of the candidates that may be sending us laser signals. How cool is that? When we do our SETI streams and we're listening out for those alien radio signals, it might not just be in radio, it might also be to a degree in light as well, flashing a laser at us there. Now, very interesting, because lasers are not natural, so immediately that's technology and that's civilization, but also they're directional. So if we're observing it here on Earth, that does mean that somebody knows we are here, or at least suspects it is, and they're sending us those laser-like pulses there with some data, with a message within it there. The Kingpin of Skywatching. It's a Mafia Agent X. Just look at some of the colours in those stars, though. Rio is in. Good to see you there. So yeah, lots going on in these skies tonight, and I think we're going to be in for a good one. So not only is it clear, but the camera seems to be, touch wood, playing ball at the second. So hopefully that's going to get a bit darker as the sun goes around a bit and as the moon buggers off, because the moon is up and it's causing us a little bit of visual issues there. But we are seeing some of those colours, and that is a good sign. We can see all of the colours of those stars. That we're going to have a really clear night, and we're going to see lots and lots of movement up there. So keep your eyes peeled for that stuff. Lots of action there. If you're joining us, we're doing a live UFO UAP Skywatch tonight there, coming to you live from Wiltshire in the UK, which is right in the heart of Crop Circle country, just down the road from Stonehenge. Glastonbury isn't too far in the other direction either. So lots of strange and anomalous things in the skies.
Zoom mode activated.
Just like this one. So it's not doing anything anomalous just yet, but keep your eyes on it. So as we zoom back out, keep your eyes on it and see if it maintains that straight, predictable path there that a satellite would. Because if it deviates, if it hesitates, if it changes its speed, its direction there, a loop-to-loop, something like that, will tell us 100% that it cannot be a satellite, and that it is something a little stranger there. One of the more common anomalies that we get is strange flashing or coloration. Now, again, it's not particularly hard. Well, it's not particularly hard. Satellites can appear to flash, coloration as well. They can be responsible from that. So it isn't the same as the anomalous movement. That is a slam dunk that you've got something strange there. But it does raise the question a lot of the time there. Here we are live from Wiltshire. You're going to get used to that. We say it a million times per stream there. How you doing? 69 there. How is the Thai weather doing for you? Right, lots of activity in the skies there, and GWAG coming in with the shares there. Appreciate that, guys. It is the likes, the shares that does help us, meet more and more like-minded people there, like yourselves there. Alf, thank you for the gifts. Appreciate that. All goes back into the stream there. And Dazza, hi, you good? We're all good here, Dazza. We're good. It's Glasses Monday today. It becomes a regular thing there. And Jasmine, thank you for the heart there. You had my laser out there and pointed in the sky, then a massive flash. It was massive. All very interesting. Again, lasers are one of the ways that are commonly cited that you can get some of that to and fro, that communication, some feedback from the phenomena there. So I believe that one very much there. Galaxy is in as well. How is your week going? We're only on Monday, aren't we? So far, lots of ways to go through there. And GWAG sent little Alan, little alien buddy there. Thank you. Alan, don't eat him there. And you see the star cluster. So where is it Miser 30? I think it's this one up here is the one we normally have in. It's not quite dark enough yet, so it's not coming through as clear. But this is normally the star cluster that we have in arranged there tonight. Ethan is in. Good to see you. So yeah, look at some of the colours, the purples here, the oranges. Every now and again you'll get a wisp of green as well. There's an orange poking through there, yellow, purples, nice fresh minty blue there. But this one here, this is Jupiter. That is a planet within our solar system there. So it's not another star. It is one of the planets closest by, and that's why it's so bright, because it's so close to our sun, gets a lot of light to reflect back to us here, so the light is more stable. That twinkling effect that you'll see in the distant stars is because that light is travelling so far. By the time it reaches us here, it can interfere with our atmosphere, and therefore the coloration can change there, because it's just not strong enough to punch through consistently like here, like the light that we're seeing here from Jupiter. But majority of these, the vast majority of these other little dots around here, these are all other stars like our sun. They're getting a range of sizes, a range of temperatures, a range of what they're burning, but they're all going to have, as far as we know now, and we are starting to look, they're all going to have other planets. They're going to have their own solar systems, and we're starting to see things. Cake! Oh man, I want some cake now, Geobeck. Thank you for those. All goes back into the stream there. Appreciate that. But yeah, they're all going to have their own planets, moons, and other rocky bodies around them there. So there is there's multiple opportunities for life, what we're looking at now. And I often think that if we just picked, let's pick this one because the cursor is nearby, this star here, and we'll say that this star is 600 light years from us there. But say that that star there, that light that's travelled all that way, maybe around this star it's going to have its own planets, and maybe one of those planets is going to have intelligent life, and they're going to be looking to their night sky, to the faint pale dot that is our star, our sun there, and wondering if there is life out there as well. Our Earth has been screaming that it has a life. It's had a biosignature, they call it, for about 2 billion years. So if there has been a civilization out there that has the same level of technology that we have now at any point in the last 2 billion years, had a look at us and our star and our planet there, they would know that Earth has a life, and they detect that by the gases that are in the atmosphere, because you can tell by the light coming from that distant star, passing through the atmosphere of the planets that go in front of it, and you can see what the light is there and what is made up of there. You see what gases are in those atmospheres, and certain gases are only made by a life. So yeah, it gives the game away that there might be life around those distant stars, and that is something that we're doing more and more of. And in that community, in the astrobiology community there, they are starting to think that life, there's two there going across the screen, that life is absolutely everywhere. They're getting so many of these potential detections of life around those distant stars. So it is looking like it's going to be very, very abundant indeed there. The firmament needs a window cleaner. Yeah, we do. The little men come down on the cradle there. Where are we there? Where are we in the TikTok chat? Let's scroll through. Love the purple one there, Galaxy. Yes, honestly. So wait until Vega comes in. It's going to be good there. D2, yes, I think that one is, I think it's Miser 13. Rachel was saying there now, but thank you for the gifts. Appreciate that. All goes back into the stream there. So if you're new here, guys, do say hello. Let us know where you're all watching from there. It might take me a second to get to your comments, but we'd love to read them out there. Say yes. Let us know where you're watching from if you've ever had an experience with the phenomena. And the good stuff as it appears on screen, we'll zoom in on there. And it's Glasses Monday there, up as well. And where are we? There, Ethan as well. Right, I saw that light again earlier. Went under the moon in a waving motion. So that's very interesting. That motion, I can't think of something like a normal explanation of that would cause that as well. And the moon is an interesting one because it is so bright, so reflective. It does your night vision in when you're looking at it there. So any objects you're seeing that are close to it have to be quite bright to counteract that one there. And I might, the 8-inch 200mm Dobsonian reflector telescope there, that's a tool and a half. There it is, Glasses Monday, Ben. And see what there, you've watched the live for 400 minutes. It is crazy how it all adds up very quickly, isn't it, there? And we have appreciated every minute of that, GWAC, as well. And Mystic there, Mama, thank you for the gifts. Have I missed any more? Grim as well for some cake there. Thank you for feeding Alan, GWAC.
Nom nom nom, thanks,
Missed
guys.
a few of those, but appreciate it, guys. All the gift subs, the patron things do go back into the stream there, helping us improve what we are doing. Right, where are we in the chat? There's a few now. Lost my my ability to keep up now there. Did a big circle and said, can you flash the circle? And it did twice. That connection there, what else could that be? That is a brilliant one there. And Albert coming in with the cake there, feeding Alan.
Nom nom nom, thanks, guys.
There as well, and approximately 200 billion planets and moons, they believe. It is phenomenal, isn't it? These numbers, I know what a billion means, but I can't feel what a billion means. I can't visualize it there. You know, it is just so vast. There are so many opportunities for life. And we look to our own solar system, and it is looking like even within our own solar system, there is at least simple life there. Microbial life, or more simple, I should say. Not that simple. But yeah, it's looking like it is everywhere. So what would that mean for the rest of the galaxy there? And off to sleep there, G-Wag. Well, thank you for joining us for a bit there. Hope you have a good rest. Albert coming in again.
Nom nom nom, thanks, guys.
Feeding Alan. Where are you joining us from tonight there, Albert? And they know anyway that they're here. I think groups of people do. And this is the thing, isn't it? Like, throughout the years, it has actually been a commonly held belief that they are here and that they are out there. So when they say, oh, we're keeping it a secret because, you know, we don't know how the general public would react there. Well, obviously, there will be a bit of friction here or there. Grim?
Nom nom nom, thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. There will be a bit of friction here or there. But it was commonly held belief at the turn of the last century there, so 1800s going to the 1900s, that, you know, there was life on Mars. There were Martians. They actively thought that was most likely the case. Venus too. And we got on quite all right, thinking that there was aliens next door. So I don't think it'd be too much of a problem. Now, if those said aliens are on their way, then maybe maybe it would be a little bit trickier there. And the beer bus there. Hello, I'm sharing your sky. I'm in a. You're in Bath tonight. Ah, excellent. I do like a bit of Bath. You are very, very close by indeed there, Beer Buster. And John from Liverpool. Good to see you in. How are your skies tonight there? And hello. And is that Mystic? Is that Lynn? Is that from Lynn? Whereabouts is Lynn? That sounds brilliant. I probably got that pronunciation. Oh, Illinois there. That's why I have to read ahead there. Illinois. Again, I think you might be our first from Illinois. Brilliant. How are your skies doing? Have you ever seen anything strange? Very much welcome aboard there. Don't forget the YouTube. Yeah, no, I've got to switch back over to there in a second. And is that Marfo as well there? Have you ever seen a UFO in the sky? Yeah, we've definitely seen some anomalous things there. Things that do not fit the classification of satellite. You know, they have to follow certain rules. Same with the shooting stars. We've gone through with some of our sightings, you know, the explainable angle there. But if you hang around, you'll see it's normally something strange. Now, what they are, can we collapse that down into saying that it's definitely ET flying around up there? That is very difficult. But if you keep your eyes peeled there, sometimes we do see something strange there. Oh, an A up there. I keep having my TikTok freezing there. Don't know to me. So my internet is saying that something's going on. So I think I might be having a few issues for you guys there. You have to forgive us on TikTok if you are suffering a bit with the quality there. Oh, there's a flash again in D2 there, Naomi. Right, I'm going to try and keep an eye on that one. Good spot in there. What are you purchasing next for the page? Oh, GWAC, it's going to be a while yet, because the only things left are the really expensive things. New camera or the infrared mod. That'll be it there, unless anything else needs to be replaced in the meantime. There. Less than a quarter of the moon. It is just a tiny bit there. You'll be surprised though how bright that still is. But it is. It's normally towards the end and the beginning of the months there that the worst for the moon there. And they're on their way and already here. Well, this could be the case, couldn't it? I think if there's going to be one, there is going to be many, many more. So one may be here, two may be here, three may be here. But maybe somebody else is just around the corner there waiting to come on in. There you go. Look, got some movement. Nice bright one over here. So as I zoom back out, if you can, keep your eyes on it, because we need to see it do something strange there. We need to see some of that anomalous movement, anomalous behaviour there to tell us that it is definitely not one of the many, many satellites that are up there. Hey, thank you for the gifts. Appreciate those as well. Carl as well, and Grim.
Nom nom nom, thanks, guys.
What? I have not seen that one before. Get the bandana there. That's brilliant, that is. Thank you for those. Where are we? And Alfie there. Your sky's always clear, Alfie. Oh, during the winter it was not. We're going through a lucky run at the minute, I'll tell you. It probably wasn't sensible to do something that relies on clear skies when you're based in the UK, but we have had a good run this week, and hopefully we're going to get many, many more in too as well there. And Archie, thank you for the follow. Where are you joining us from there? Going to the safari park. So Longleat, because that is literally on the edge of the town that we're in. So you are literally right next to us tomorrow. Ironically, I'm going into Bristol tomorrow, though, some ships in the night there. And how long does it take for a satellite to do a full circle of the Earth? So it roughly depends, but I know the International Space Station, is that about 50 minutes or so? It's quite fast. They're going very, very, very fast there. What's the class on here? C2. I think that one is the same one we normally check, which is is it the Miser 13? I think it is that one. An 8 or 1 good spot in there, Albert. So keep your eyes on it, and we'll zoom in on it if it does something strange. Right, back over to the TikTok there. Let's have a look there. Where are we? The Acme Globe Cleaner. It's a dangerous job there. And 1 billion is 100 million. It very much is there. And that friction needs lube. You're not wrong. You're not wrong there. Friction with all of this sort of stuff, we tend to forget because we're like, you know, it's do fish know that they are in water there? That's the medium that they're always in. So it wouldn't be adaptive, would it, for them to constantly be sensing the water unless there's a change, in the same way that we don't really feel the air unless there's, you know, a breeze or the temperature change there. But that's kind of what it's like when you're in space. It's that again. So it's the equivalent when you come out of space and go into the atmosphere that we take for granted. We go, look, there's nothing here, I can wave my hands around, there's no resistance. But when you're coming for the very, very near vacuum of space into the atmosphere, it's just like jumping, the equivalent of us jumping into the sea there. You suddenly feel the resistance. It's much denser there, and that is why those objects entering, like the capsules you would have seen re-entering after a space mission, they're just hitting that air, that friction there, creating all of that heat. And Ken there, when I first looked back at the Earth standing on the moon, and I cried there, Alan Shepard. They do say that the observer effect, or the overview effect, yes, the overview, the observer effect is a quantum thing. Yeah, that basically, even if you're not all the way to the moon, but if you're, you know, you're far enough off the Earth's surface there, you know, you can step back and you can see the whole planet. You can just see everything as a whole there, and it gives you a whole different perspective on it there. And where's Raf? I don't know. Where is Raf tonight? There. And you're not banned. It's there. It just takes me a while to read the messages. We're bouncing between all of the chats tonight, so if you are just joining us, we're doing a live UFO, a UAP, a Skywatch. Tonight we're going to live from Wiltshire in the UK, I said, which is right in the heart of crop circle country here in the UK, just down the road from Stonehenge. A long history with the strange and anomalous in these skies, so do pay attention, keep your eyes there. We're going to zoom in on the good stuff, the interesting things. If you've been with us since the beginning of the stream, you can now tell, look how dark the screen is there. That's gone black, whereas that sky was blue, wasn't it? There, that was that last bit of daylight. Even though it was dark for us here on the surface, there was still a bit of daylight in the night sky. And that sun, as it is going around, there we are leaving, you know, that is leaving the sky there and allowing us to see more and more in the night sky there. No, Jolly, I'm sure Jolly might be in later. He's normally quite active in the chat, unless Raf's banned him as well. That app coming in with the gifts, thank you for those. It all goes back into the stream there. And Alfie, B2, a tiny little one, good spot in there, so you got to keep our eyes on them and keep tracking them across the screen. We're looking for that zigzag there, you know, or slowing down, speeding up, stopping dead, anything like that there. And Smack-Z there, how are you doing? In Salisbury, you are one stop on the train down from us. We are in Warminster, so we are not far away at all. How are your skies there? Being, you know, a local, it's a bit more built up, isn't it, Salisbury? But your sky is still good. Have you ever seen anything strange there as well? And Wiltshire has a lot of chalk carvings. It does. We've got a lot of the white horses carved into the the chalk hillsides and things like that. But there's weird stuff everywhere here. I said we moved here about a year ago from a wonderful Essex, so it's much more built up, much more light polluted, much more urbanised and quite flat. Here, lots of hills. But I got an ordnance survey map of the local town, and I had ideas that, you know, as a countryman now, I'm going to get myself a wax jacket and I'll go for long, relaxing walks in the country, and I want to find all of the local footpaths. And you know that scene in Gladiator there where he's dead and he's kind of like, you know, running his hand through the crops. Like that's what I was thinking. Go for nice summer walks through countryness, through all the crops. And I was looking across the ordnance survey map, and there's stone circles absolutely everywhere. There's monolithic stones just sitting in the woods, or, you know, there are burial mounds, you know, cairns and all sorts of strange things around here. It's a very strange landscape indeed. So these guys are very, very active. Evening nerds, how are you doing, Kate? Thank you for the shares, guys. It is the shares, the likes, all of that sort of stuff there that helps us reach more and more like-minded people like yourselves there. And the more eyes and minds we get on the old phenomena, the more we can all piece this puzzle together. But if you're joining us for the first time, make sure you're following or subscribing there, because we do this pretty much every night. And if it's a clear night, it's this, the UFO UAP Skywatch. If it's a cloudy night, we do an alien radio signal hunt there, and we've got a big dish, and we listen on a frequency called the hydrogen line, and that is the channel on the radio dial where scientists theorize that if ET is out there, that is where we would hear that message. It's where we've heard signals like the WOW signal and many more. So we do that on those cloudy nights, or we're doing this here if that sky is clear there. And Harko, how you doing there? Only did reach 150 instead of 400 kilometers. It's not quite enough there. M to the C, loving the stickers there. How are you doing tonight? Dylan is in too there. And Alfie, I live in Kent. There's one chalk horse, but nothing else there. So, as I know Kent very well, it's just over the river from us. A little bit more rural. Kent has always struck me as a little bit more country than Essex was there. But I didn't even know you had chalk horse over there. That's pretty cool. There's also a chalk dude, isn't there, with his dong out. God knows what the ancient people were trying to do. The actual chalk horses, most of them, are not actually that old. They're like 1800s. There are a few very old ones, but they were kind of like copies of that one there. Keep your eyes to the skies, guys, because we're going to see a lot of satellites, a lot of explainable things, a few shooting stars every now and again, so keep your eyes peeled for those. They're always good to see. But what we're looking for is we are looking for, let me zoom in on this one here. Where is it? Does it's tracking across? It's quite faint.
Zoom mode activated.
We're looking for things like this. Now, this is currently a steady speed, steady straight trajectory there, so it's probably, as it comes back in there, so it's probably just one of the many satellites that are up in those skies. But if you keep following them, every now and again, one or two might do something strange. We tend to see it at least once per stream there. They might stop dead, shoot off at speed, change its trajectory, the interstellar handbrake turn, we say, something like that, and that is some behaviour that satellite just can't do. So that is what we are here to look out to see there. Where are we in the thing? I'll be sensible. Well, baby, when I see it there, 69. And Nanya, how are you doing tonight? Good to see you in there as well. Hagan Alien there. Oh, and Billy is clear in Suffolk. Honestly, Suffolk, I was on the Baldsey coast many years ago. No light pollution at all, and they are the best skies I've ever seen. It's that memory of how clear the night sky was always struck me there. But again, another very ancient and mysterious landscape there. Lots of weird things going on there. Fertility graffiti. Well, that could be one of the arguments. But yeah, Billy, have you ever seen anything strange in the skies, or just generally around that part of the world? Love to hear about that one. And Johnsy as well there. Go to poetry there. Having some fun. Right, where are we? Back over on the TikTok chat here. I'm juggling two chats tonight, so do say hello, guys. Ask your questions. There's no silly questions here, so do ask away. We love to hear them all. Love to hear from you all there, and if you've had an experience with the phenomena too, but it might take me a minute because I'm juggling a couple of them there, but we will get to you there. How you doing? Dylan is in there. And Sean, anything good today? Not yet, actually. Not yet. It's been pretty standard so far, which is a bit surprising. Just means the good stuff is to come, because it is actually really clear tonight. It's clearer than it was yesterday. We're getting the colour of the stars and lots of movement, so it won't be long until we see something strange there. Oh, I think you saw a small flash in B3, so that would line up. So I'll put my cursor there in a second. If I can see it, we'll zoom in again, because stationary flashing can also be anomalous there. My eyes are definitely peeled tonight there. Everything is blurry. Don't take it literally, Kate. That sounds like surgery. And Harko, did you try the link there? You'll see your local crap in the sky. I haven't tried the link yet. I did see it. You posted it. I haven't tried the link just yet. Mostly because I haven't got enough screens to have another one going at the time, but it would be cool to be able to actually label them like you were doing last night, labeling these objects, seeing which satellites they are. Leanne coming in with gifts, thank you for those guys. The gifts, the subs, the Patreons, it all goes back into the stream. They're helping us improve what we do. And Neil there, I've seen a sat out in the hot tub at night there. You can tell the satellites from the other things. See, this is very true, Neil. There are lots of satellites, lots of man-made things up there, and for a lot of people that answers the question, doesn't it? Oh, what am I seeing in the sky? It's probably a satellite, and statistically probably is going to be that. But it's very similar to, you know, when I hear a bump in my house at night, I go, it's the pets. And in fact, the other night it wasn't the pets. it was a water pump that was running on and got jammed and then burnt itself out and then cost me a lot of money. But in my head, I heard a bump and I went, it's the pets. And that's the problem, that if we just write it all off as, it's probably a satellite, it's probably there, you are going to miss those occasions when it isn't there. So, and there is a behavioural difference in there. We talk about, that movement behaviour, because that is the gold standard. That immediately, there's no ambiguity around that ambiguity, there we go, find a word eventually, ambiguity around it. There, if we see one of those lights travelling across the screen there and it does a right angle turn, stops and then continues, or zigzags about, satellites just cannot do that. In fact, none of our modern day technology at that sort of altitude can behave like that. So we know we have something immediately anomalous. Now, what is it? That becomes very, very difficult there. And Alfie, I went to South Wales and there's a lot of activity up there. There very, very much is. I was very surprised in doing this. Leanne coming in with the shares, thank you for that. But in doing this stream, I thought there'd be a roughly equal distribution around the UK, Ireland, Wales, Scotland, all that sort of stuff. Maybe a bit more in England because, a larger population density. So maybe they'd see more. But actually, no, it's Wales, Ireland and Scotland there. It seems to be very, very active. Now, is it because it is more rural there? They're less densely packed in. They spend more time, are able to see and notice those things. Maybe they're more in touch culturally to those sorts of things, more open. It's very interesting there. And Kate, that probably it there. I'm at the opticians tomorrow for the eye screening. Oh, God. Does the other stuff complicate the eyes as well? Everything's connected there. And Nasha has seen a fast-moving satellite, but was green in colour. Now, they are very, very interesting. It's not a slam dunk, but it is interesting. So they can appear to come through green there. Just if it's particularly low and it can interact with our atmosphere, it can do that. But also, green is one of the proposed signatures of a warp drive being used. You don't have to warp immediately at those full speeds. You can just be using that as your general slubber around the place propulsion there. Because of the gravitational lensing, you're stretching and compressing the light waves. You're compressing it in the forward direction and you're stretching it in the rear direction. So that's red shifting and blue shifting. And apparently there is a green glow that can be associated with that. So it's not a slam dunk, but it is a very, very interesting thing to pay attention to there. Oh, not that you've seen on the side effects there, but I was saying to A up there, it's been crying and reading all week. Yeah, that'll do them in there, but at least that's one thing it's not going to knock on there. And the weirdest things I see is when this satellite disappears, but I think it's the Earth shadow. So Alpha, you're 100% there. There is going to be a line. There's the umbra of the Earth there. It's the shadow of the Earth. The further the sun goes round, there's going to be a line where those satellites are just going to appear to just disappear totally out. And depending on what altitude they are, that line will be different for them there. But disappearing can be an anomalous one there. Now back over to the TikToks. Let's have a look. Not TikTok, sorry, the Tube. Where are you guys? Patiently waiting for us there. And Nanya, aliens could just trigger a Kessler syndrome and trap us for generations. You know what? That's one that I haven't heard of. But yeah, no, they definitely could. And Kessler syndrome, guys, for anybody listening out there that's curious, that is basically the snowball effect of one satellite getting into an accident and smashing into 1,000 pieces, and then those 1,000 pieces are flying around at speed up there, could damage another one, and that snowball chain reaction there. And the idea is that there's so many of them up there that there will just be a layer of what are essentially speeding bullets flying around the Earth. So every time we put a satellite up there, it'll just get obliterated by that, and that could last from anywhere between 10 years before it all re-enters and 100 years, I reckon. So it is a fear, but yeah, but an easy way for aliens to interfere with us if that was their agenda there. It's a freaky fire starter there. And none of you and watch us like a zoo. Well, that is one of the arguments. If this phenomena has been here with us the whole time, for at least a very long time, thousands of years or tens of thousands of years or more, you look back in folklore, early religious texts there, and it doesn't like the same phenomena. But what would their agenda be, judging by their hands-off, but they've always kind of been around attitude? Well, kind of that zoo hypothesis there does tend to fit with that one, doesn't it? And Zen recommend deep dive there. Auguste Picard, is that as in Captain Picard? There's Zen. I do need some deep dive recommendations. We're going to have another deep dive next week, be over on the Patreon. It might be actually on YouTube members as well, if they approve us in time. And Blue Nose, thank you for the star, mate. That's very, very kind of you there. Do very much appreciate you. Single-handedly upgrading the stream there. Where are we? What boat? There, and Jonesy there. Yeah. And Where are we? No, we are up to date across the board. If you are just joining us, guys, we are doing a live UFO, a UAP, a Skywatch tonight. So coming to you live from Wiltshire in the UK, which is right in the heart of crop circle country and just down the road from Stonehenge. So keep your eyes on these skies. There's lots of weird and wonderful things. Is there any movement? There's some faint movement that I'm seeing flying around in a minute, but nothing jumping out at me there, though. Neil, I've also been lucky enough to see an orb-like metallic object that kept flashing. Where it kept flashing and disappearing. Very interesting. These orbs are really coming up a lot. I think somebody else, Kate, yours was an orb one as well, wasn't it? Like a metallic orb. You know, and there's people talking about things like a sphere network, that maybe there's a lot of those around. They're sort of monitoring devices, and they're just kind of spread out all over the globe. They're keeping an eye on things, and there are a hell of a lot of sightings of these potential things there. You remind me of the singer from Aqua. The bald one, yeah. Was it Come On Barbie, Let's Go Party? That one. But I've had some brilliant comparisons there. Most of them not flattering though, but nobody's going to beat. What was my favourite one? The Black Belt Barrister. That was hilarious. And was it Bald and Bankrupt? The guy that travels there. Oh, good spotting there, Harko as well. Good evening, Blue Nose. Good to see you there. And Alfie, do we know the exoplanet the WOW signal came from? Brilliant question. So the WOW signal was an anomalous signal detected in the early, in about 1978 there, and it looked exactly how we would expect an alien radio signal to look, and it was on the frequency, the channel on the dial, where we would most likely expect to see an alien radio signal. And we can go into those details of why a bit more, but it was basically exactly what we expected to see, where we expected to see it. And even to this day, it hasn't been fully sort of disproven. There are a few theories of ways that it could possibly be organic in nature, because nature is incredibly noisy in radio. That's its natural language. The universe screams in radio waves. There you can tune into the planets and things. You have to filter out the organic radio signals. But the WOW signal looked very technological. It looked very interesting. But it didn't come from... Oh, that's flaring up there. There's a few going across the middle of the screen. What's that one there? Manifesting. I like that one, Blue Nose. Thank you. Where it come from, somewhere in the Sagittarius constellation. They don't know precisely where, so they can't apportion it to a particular star yet. But we do know that the closest stars in that constellation are actually quite far away, which would mean that the power, the energy used to send a signal from one of those stars for us to then be able to detect it is phenomenal there. So it's a very interesting signal. But there have been many more interesting ones there. Oh, Dr. Jones one, yeah. Yeah. Itam Sat, is that coming through there, Harko? Good spot. We're going to have to get you a little console, and you can draw it on the screen, and you can label them. That, I think people would like that then. And good evening, Marcus. Good to see you there. And Ben, we have seen atoms somewhat teleport. So who's to say ET hasn't learned how to do it with themselves? It's very possible, and you're right. They made a breakthrough recently on quantum teleportation. So it's not quite ready for us to jump in a tube and disappear somewhere else, let alone the ethical considerations there. But you know, it is getting there. We are getting there with technology, and if a species has been around a lot longer, look at our technological development just the last few hundred years. If they've been around for 1 million years longer, just think of what they could have figured out there. And we are roughly midway through the expected lifetime of the universe there, so we're a bit late to the party. There have been plenty of other habitable worlds for life to potentially develop around for a very long time. So a very good point there, Ben. And all my days, I have just remembered it's nearly May there, not long, and to wait and see Mr. Shatner. Oh, yeah. God, time is going so quick there. Place to places. Yeah, well, that's very true, Ben. There. And Sean, look there. Thank you for the gifts there. Where are we? Down here. C3 Jasmine. I'm a bit behind, but keep up the good spot in there. And do you think the boogosphere is fake? I really don't know. I think if it is fake there, it's an imitation of something that probably is going on to some degree. I don't know. I think that... Oh, what is his name? The guy is a Mexican chap, isn't he? And he's a broadcaster. I think he's an interesting chap. I don't think he necessarily manipulates things, but I do think he gets quite excited, and therefore maybe doesn't do some of the due diligence. I think they were doing the best that they could, but I think what we're missing in our world... Oh, that was a flash somewhere over here. It won't come back now. But what we're missing is that next layer of analysis, the more professional, the more detailed analytical understanding of these things. But I think keep your eyes on that one, guys. So this is an interesting one. Look at the colour difference here. It's a bit more orange, isn't it, than the others? The others have been under various shades of white or various brightnesses. But that one has definitely got more, I think, orange hue to it there. Well, we've got two going up here and here. So keep your eyes on those guys. We need to see them do something weird there, something a satellite just cannot do. Where is my cursor? There it is. Quickly back over to the tubes there. Kessler is in. How are you? Yes, so I don't know specifically on the boogosphere there. Satellite went from C2 past, as a C3 past a D2 there. Very good tracking. Keep it up there. And Oscar there, dude, I just got my new satellite. Could you look at in media channel? Yeah, we'll have a look in a second there, Oscar. Is that on Kerbal? And oh, good tracking, Harco. And 26 TC there. I've just been watching the moon. Honestly, the first time I saw the moon through our lens, hold on. So this is what the moon looks like for us there. You see all of the craters and the details, and you've seen pictures of it on TV and things, but when you're actually looking at it in real time, nothing beats it, does it there, 26. And the Voyager 1 hit the light here the other day, I think it was it a light day or something? It was one of those markers, but it wasn't that far. But you think these distances at the speeds that we travel are so incredibly vast there. You know, it takes a very long time to traverse it all. And you know, they do say that when we do start launching these ships to go to other solar systems and other star systems and things like that, you probably don't want to be on the first few ships, because the rate of technological advancement means that you'll go on one ship, you know, you spend 40 years traveling, and then you'll only be overtaken by the next generation ship. You might have just waited on Earth for the technology to advance there. And well, Jaime Masson, that's it, Sean, that's it, yeah. So there were some things when they were doing the experiments there, and there were, like, example, one of them would be wearing gloves and the other one wouldn't be wearing gloves, and they're both handling the object, and you either are or you aren't, or you're kind of playing scientist, and it felt very much to me like they were doing their best, but I don't think it was, you know. But the boogosphere itself was meant to be going off, wasn't it, to a particular university in the US, I think, to be studied in more detail, and now that went quiet, and I vaguely remember hearing that there had been some shenanigans afoot. The university was messing them around, and it was just, I can't remember what it was specifically, but it did actually start to point towards it being, maybe there is something going on, maybe somebody was blocking the real study, which was interesting. So I'll leave it open. But I do need to see some more on it there. Not only there, what's your views on all the drones that's flying around the US and here now? So, I mean, look, drones are going to be an option now. We live in a world where that technology is more and more available. They're getting cheaper and cheaper. There's just going to be more of them there. But I don't think it's going to be all of the phenomena, all of the things that we are witnessing as well there. The drones, until we see evidence of a drone displaying that anomalous behavior, it's so hard to tell. It's like what we're doing now with trying to filter out the satellites there. We're looking for anomalous behavior. So that thing that's flying across the screen right now in D2 there, that might be ET flying from A to B. He's going to look very similar to us there, reflecting the sun's light back to us, but we're not going to know for sure until he does something that only a potential UFO could do, that a satellite can't. So it means we might miss some examples, but it's the only way to be sure, and that's what we really need. We really need that cherry on top there, the confirmation of it being a little bit strange there. Oh, telescope! I'll have a look in a sec. Let's just see if I can load that one up now before I forget there. If it wants to load, let's have a look. Media. Oh wow, Harker, that's a good. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that is excellent. You'll be telling us how to do it now. I already got your first shot through it. Yeah, I have no idea where to start with them. That is very, very cool. Oh, there's always the you know, you start off with one thing and then you get used to that, and then you realise what the next level is. It's a never-ending journey there of upgrading. there. And come fly with me. You have to ask there, what camera are you using for the live? So this is a Sony A7 there. The trick is the lens though. But yeah, just most digital cameras there. I mean, the Sony A7s are quite good in low light, but it is mostly the lens doing the heavy lifting. And it's amazing. There's definitely a life up there. There has to be, doesn't there? 26. I mean, you don't need it to be absolutely amazed and taken aback by what we're seeing. You know, I mean, the show that nature puts on just with these beautiful stars, the shooting stars and things like that. But you know, or even the technological stuff when we're seeing Starlink go over, it is phenomenal to see. Oh, we got an anomaly.
Zoom mode activated.
Look how deep red that is compared to all of the others there. Now, if that is just reflecting the sun, it'll come back in shot for you guys in a second. If that is just reflecting the sun's light back, why are we getting such an intense coloration to it there when most of the ones, as we've seen tonight, are just a nice, clear, cool white? What is it that's doing that? Now, there may be an answer to that. Somebody did suggest at some point using gold insulation, some of the older Russian satellites might cause that, but I didn't know if that actually would change the color for us down here. But there might be an answer. But what is very interesting about the orange color of these, if I zoom back out, we'll find a normal one. Look, there you go. Look at the color difference in this one. White, like most of them. And there's a distinct orange for this one. But what it could be very interesting there is they do theorize that the way a real life warp drive would work with a UFO would end up that it would ionize the plasma. It would create a plasma coating around the craft just by the technology there, and that would be ionized, therefore glowing to us. It'd be a very red-orange glow. So that might be something that we are seeing right there. It's hard to say for sure, but it definitely goes into the anomalous category there. 10 by 70 binos there, but you want the stronger ones. I don't even know what magnification mine are, but this is like doing this, you know, you start to go, that would be better here, that could be an improvement. Honestly, it's a money pit. I've got myself into a little bit of trouble with doing this stream, because it's, it's essential, we need this, it's going to improve it, and yeah. It's just never ending, but it is cool when you start to see it all there. Neil C2 as well there. Oh, can you zoom in on the cluster alpha? We try and do that in a second. I need to catch up a bit with the chats there. And Oyo, apparently coming from the sea, Trump said he was going to tell us what was happening, but he didn't. So that was a point. He definitely did say that, didn't he? Before he got into office, like, are we going to sort this out? And then later on he went, no, it's fine. We know what it is, but it's fine. Don't need to worry about it. You know, gave us the typical culture. We all thought it was going to be a bit different, but no, there. You can buy it on board. There, I ain't got any money now. And what software is this? So this is basically just a viewing thing. It's called Camera Hub, and it comes with the actual video capture cards to bring it in there. But we do have our own tracking software, which is broken at the minute, hence it's not on the screen, but we're making it ourselves, hence why it's broken. And quickly back over to the tubes. You guys have been waiting there. And Templar there, Psalms 8:3. Oh, which one is that? Because like, I'm not particularly religious myself there. I grew up culturally, the reference, but you know, more atheistic. But then I'm starting to kind of hear it a bit differently now, and I'm not saying that I'm going that way. There's still a few things here, Barrett, but if you imagine a lot of the religions are just, you know, it's human interpretation with the best tools that we have. You know, it's rolling the dice on these are the rules I think we should live by, so we can all work collectively together. And you know, if you think of it like that more than a literal, you know, God in the sky, I mean, I can understand a lot of that. So I'm seeing a lot of value in it. Which one is that one then? Psalms 8:3. And tell us what that one is, and we'll see if that one is for this one there. And what's your opinion there, Jason? What's your opinion on the UFOs and the cows in the USA? Do you think it's aliens or people? So this is like the cattle mutilations, isn't it? And things like that. It's one of those things, it doesn't have a very obvious way that it fits in. Like, I can imagine the odd cow over a period of time, but, you know, because if they're analysing, if they're understanding or trying to understand life here on Earth, you'd take the odd samples, but then surely we would get the cows for a bit, as we did, then maybe it would be horses, or then maybe it would be pigs, and then maybe it would be cats, you know, as they're working their way through, studying the life, humans, as well there. But we don't see that, it was just the cows. The other angle of what it could have been related to is that we use it, bovine growth serum. It's very useful. I can't remember what for now and what part of medicine and stuff. So maybe they were harvesting a particular part that cows have in the same way that we do, while we grow them, isn't it? Or we raise them. So it could be something associated with that. I did hear another theory that it was actually the government, because a lot of that cattle mutilation stuff happened around the time that we had the BSE scare, the mad cow disease scare. And that one, somebody had a theory, not saying that I lean this way, but they did have a theory that it was the government American government doing it on the sly, testing cows to make sure that they it hadn't spread to the US, because they didn't want to create a sort of a panic there. Which I think is an interesting one.
Zoom mode activated.
Let's looking at this bright one. There was two chasing each other. Let's have a look at this bright one. Again, it's not doing anything anomalous. It's not like the orange one, but it is nice and it is bright, and it shows you a bit of area of what we can sometimes see up there in the night sky. So as I zoom out, try and keep your eyes on all of them, follow them across, because it only takes that last minute course change, speed change there for us to go, haha, anomalous. Let's have a look back over to the TikTok and a chat there. And gold would make it highly reflective, so maybe. So it would be highly reflective, wouldn't it? But does it change the colour? I don't know the answer to that one, but it might be an angle there. I mean, I definitely see that it could be like brighter relative to its size. There, Alfie, could it be the angle that changes the colour? Ooh, I don't think so, because the reason we see different colours is basically the light wave. The wave itself is different. It's either a higher frequency or a lower frequency wave there, and that's what dictates the colour. And that's why if light is passing through a filter, whether that filter is one of those plastic filters that you might have in front of a torch, or whether it is our atmosphere there, that thickness changes the light wave basically, and therefore changes the colour that you see. So it'd have to be... I can understand how atmosphere could have an effect on some of them. Maybe that's why we see some that are green. But orange, I'm not sure. And come fly over. Yeah, I've seen the orange a lot too there. And AI tells me it's maybe orange foil. I mean, it may be. There's a logic to it. But I think it's just reflecting... I suppose you can reflect colour, can't you? So maybe? I don't know. It's just... I don't know, something about that feels like at these distances with those brightnesses it would be a bit tricky. They might be rusty, although some of them are quite old now. And I didn't realise this, but they're obviously the space is a vacuum, but it's a very, very near vacuum. But the closer you are to our atmosphere, actually, there still is a lot of oxidization issues there because of coming off of the planet. So things can actually rust close to planets in space there. And Ben, with the rate your streams aren't going up, I'd call it an investment and nothing more. So, oh, thank you there, Ben. I do appreciate it. We'll see if it's a blip though, Ben. And Alfie, I have this app called Stellarium there, but I don't think the satellite information are correct. I think when we tracked it in the early days with Stellarium, oh, please tell me you guys saw that on the TikTok as well. You probably did see that on the tubes. That was phenomenal shooting star. That drew a line. I'm clipping that one. That was stunning, wasn't it there? That. Sometimes we get them just right, guys. That was a beautiful shooting star coming in like that. And it was green, and that tells you a little bit about what it was made up and, you know, the colours that was burning off of it there. Absolutely stunning there. Grim, thank you for the rose, if we haven't found that already. Back over to the tubes there. Chris, the aliens used the blood for genetics, and that's why the cows are drained of blood, I think. So that would tie in there, because is it something to do with bovine growth serum? There's probably to do with the blood as well then, isn't it? That it's useful for that. There's a particular reason, isn't there, with the cows? And there was a lot of strange cows. There was physical evidence from it there, wasn't there? And Vinny, how are you doing there? Why do aliens keep stealing time there? All this talk about missing time. Don't they have enough time? I mean, that is one of the things that does come up a lot there, missing time. You know, it's probably not so much that they've stolen the time, but it is that they're, you know, you're probably forgetting, you're wiping your memory of that bit because maybe it wasn't a brilliant experience there. And Shan there, I know that was amazing, wasn't it, to see that, especially on the big screen of the TikToks there. Absolutely stunning. Guys, if you are just joining us, we're doing a live UFO, UAP Skywatch tonight, coming to you live from Wiltshire in the UK, which is right in the heart of Crop Circle country and just down the road from Stonehenge here. We do this every night, so make sure you're subscribed or you're following there. Because, yeah, every night, that it is clear. If it's not clear, we do an alien radio signal hunt there, and we search what's called the hydrogen line, the channel on the radio dial where scientists theorize that if ET is out there, that's where they put the hello message there as well. But, yeah, if you could do us all a favour, it is those likes, those shares and things like that that helps us reach more and more like-minded people like yourselves. And you never know who is going to come in and what story, what experience they're going to share, or their professional experience, their career, their understanding. We've had people that have worked with satellites and satellite trajectories and things. So you know, it does help us understand what we're doing and being able to, you know, help us get hopefully a useful evidence together there. So we do appreciate all of that, but also say hello in the chat.
Zoom mode activated.
Let us know where you are watching from tonight there. If you've got any questions, ask away. There are no silly questions at all, so we're happy to answer there. And if you're curious, somebody else in the chat will be as well there, so do ask away there. Say hello if you're new as well. Let us know where you're watching from and how you feel about the UFO UAP phenomena there. We've got a nice little one here steadily making its way across the screen. Oh, that's a nice one. Oh, that's a bit flashing, that one. See, that's an interesting one, the brightness differences. That was spiking a bit there. But keep your eyes on them. There's a lot of man-made objects out there, a lot of satellites and things like that, but there are the strange ones too, so keep your eyes peeled for that anomalous speed change or course and trajectory change there as well. And Jason there, but they said that they could find no blood or footmarks or animal marks or for the cow's been. Yeah, and I've heard some you know, like they've been, the bodies are weirdly contorted as well, and you know, it's like laser precision with the removals, you know, not a drop of blood in them. It is very, very, very anomalous there. And Ken, if time travel is possible, where are the tourists from the future? Well, Ken, I think you've there's a couple of answers to that, but I think you're hitting the nail right on the head there. What if what we're seeing are the tourists from the future? There is a strong argument there that the greys, the traditional greys that people spot there, are evolutionarily us there. You know, we are on the same evolutionary trends. If we keep moving forward as we are, then we will probably look very much like the greys. So that could be one answer to it there. The other answer is that backwards time travel is incredibly difficult. It's actually, we know how to travel in the future in time. We just basically, the faster you go because of relativity, then, you know, the further you travel in time. So you could last for 2 weeks, but then, you know, you come back to Earth on a 2-week light speed journey, and you know, it's been 200 years for everybody on Earth, so you can travel into the future. We do this now. But, oh look, there you go, I've just done it again. But travelling to the past is hard. So one of the other arguments is maybe they're not us from the future, but maybe they are a pre-existing civilization from the past there. Maybe they've come into the future and they can't get back to their own time there. The beautiful green ones too. I know, the green is absolutely stunning, isn't it there? It was huge there. SP, thank you for the shares there as well. I see the hearts as well, that tapping away. That does help us reach more and more like-minded people like yourselves there. And said, again, the more eyes and minds on the old phenomena, the better there, the more we can all piece this puzzle together there. And I think there's meant to be a shower tomorrow night, but not sure. I keep the light rigs at the minute. I think there might be something going on in that. I always forget there. And Alfie, have you seen Project Hail Mary? I haven't. It is very much on my list, but we don't have a conveniently located cinema, and I'm also too poor, so I'm probably going to have to wait for it to be on the streaming service. But it looks very, very good, and I really do want to see it there. And maybe it was the oh, Mr. Sat there. Oh, that you never know. Anything re-entering is going to look very similar, Harko, so you might be right there. And Lorraine, thank you for the shares as well there. Alfie, could the colour change be how the camera sees the slightest light difference? Oh, you're not wrong in a sense there. So this lens does exaggerate colours. So it doesn't create them, but it will exaggerate colours. So there may be an angle to that, hence why you see some of those deep purples, but it has to be very, very bright. But as you can see, some of those orange ones were quite dull. We've seen the bright ones, but that was quite dull. So it'd have to be orange to some degree, I think, for us to see it there. But you're on the right track there, Alfie. And, oh, Aiden, as you turned it off, did you miss the awesome shooting star there? And Vinny there, the YouTube censorship is beyond a joke. It's not even coming up for us that there's an issue. I'm not even seeing like a deleted message there, Vinny. But I know what you mean. Honestly, it's worse on TikTok. Like on it, we have a little thread, don't we? You've probably not seen the post now, but oh, look, they've got a flasher. But yeah, some of the things that people get warnings for and stuff. We got a hate speech warning the other day.
Zoom mode activated.
So here we go. Look, we got a flasher. Oh, where's it gone? There it is. So there we go. You can see that one just flashing through. Not a particularly bright one. Sometimes they go very, very bright. So keep your eyes on that if you can. But what's happening there, prop time, is as that object is flying around there, not with the steady ones are basically, you can see how that's caught the light. They're flying around like that, right? They're just constantly catching the lights. What that's doing is that's moving, but it's rotating there. See how it flashes? and then catches the light flashes. So it's basically doing that, and therefore flashing on its rotation when that reflective side hits the sun's light to bounce it back to us there. Or ET's got his hazards on. Maybe he's lost his brakes. But that is what that's going on there as well. There's a theory that the Greys are genetically emerged race. So we did one of our deep dives. We do these every now and again over on the Patreons. A little thank you to our Patreons. They're a smaller community. We're not always introducing what we're doing there, so we go into like the real details. We normally look at a leaked document there, a whistleblower account, something like that, and we go through them every other Friday normally. So it'll be next Friday we're doing one. But one we did a molecular, I think it was a molecular biologist there that claimed to have worked on the biology of the Greys, their genetics, their anatomy, covering all those sorts of things. And basically that was the thing, that there was their DNA had been manipulated. They were biological robots, and the detail it went into, and apparently other biologists have gone, this makes sense. It was very, very interesting. Now we don't know if it is definitely true, but it really did fit. And then when you kind of apply that, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. I'm contested because I think the Us from the Future one is a good angle as well. But it does make a lot of sense there. And what do you think of the Martha lights in Texas there, Jason? There's a few places that have these lights. There's a place in Europe as well. Is it Hellingstad? Hellstad? Somewhere like that in Europe. I want to say Sweden, Switzerland, somewhere like that. And basically, like Martha in Texas, you can go out and you can look, and there are all these strange lights in the sky that dance around and move. And they're not satellites. They've been noticed since throughout history. They've always been seen, and they've been studied. And it's looking like now that they are plasmoids. So now we've got Google Maps and technology. The ones I think in Europe that they have studied, and the scientists have said that they're balls of plasma, basically. But the real question is, are they intelligent? Because if you watch and monitor their behaviour, they do look very like they're ticking the box for intelligence. They're working together, responding to their environments. Even reproduction is a potential for what they are doing there. Let's have a look at this one.
Zoom mode activated.
So I think this is going to come out. The more that we study things like this, you know, the plasmoids are a real contender, I think, for intelligent life that has been here on Earth. A bit of an orangey one, been here on Earth with us the whole time. But because it's so different from us there, and because it is so, it doesn't compete for resources with us. So we haven't recognized it as life. But I think, yeah, as it goes on, we're going to get more individual instances that we can study. And I think, yeah, we're definitely going to call that as life. And the UK government did a report called the Condine Report into the UFO phenomena in general. And apparently that was one of their conclusions. They said it needs more study, but we strongly think that, you know, intelligent plasma life is a thing and responsible for a lot of it there. And we're doing it actually as one of our deep dives. So I think we're doing it at the minutes. We did the introduction last time, and it's a bit of a long one, and we'll be doing the next part again next Friday, I think, there. So you can join us over for that one. If you use the link in our bio, it gives you the Patreon for a month for free. So you'll be able to join us for a couple of deep dives on that, and you'll also be able to join us, be able to watch the past ones back there as well. Good spot in there, the bat in C2. I think we both saw that one at the same time. Keep it up there. And where are we? The Meteosat is also rotate. Is it really? So that's an interesting one, because rotating normally means it's not doing it there. And Scott, it's the solar panels on satellites, for first sake. Yes, a lot of it is there, but it's not just the solar panels. It's not just those parts that are reflective. They account for a lot of the spikes and for the larger images there. But this is just light bouncing off the bodies of the craft for the lots of those objects that we're seeing here. But Scott, it's not all that there, because every now and again, and this is, you gotta have an open mind. You've got to actually pay attention, because otherwise you're going to miss this sort of stuff. But every now and again, you'll see these objects flying around up there, and most of them are going to be satellites. They're going to be following straight paths, consistent speeds like that. But every now and again, you'll see one stop dead, or change its course, or, you know, do a little bit of a zigzag or something like that. And now satellites just can't do that. They are falling to Earth in a big circle. And I'll give you that, it is quite rare to see the anomalous movement. But, you know, we don't have technology that can do that. And that's what we're on the lookout for tonight. But there are lots of satellites up there. And it's going to be the majority of what we are seeing there. And have you seen the close-up of their craft there? But if it's ours, what other technology have we got? So, Jonathan, that's an interesting twist in it. So, there was one we've seen a triangular craft once. That's the only time that we've actually kind of been able to discern the physical shape. The rest of it have been light anomalies, and at these sorts of distances it is that light that we're really perceiving here. I really would love to see, like some of you guys have seen, the actual shape and outline of the craft up close there. That is a real gold standard. But once we did see that triangular sort of shape of the actual body of the craft, not just the lights there, but it is quite rare to get those ones, the sort of thing. But we did see one when we was out doing this live once on location, and we tried to put the camera on, it didn't really pick it up, but when you were there, that was pretty strange there. But what other technology have we got? So this is the thing, like, I don't know what the full repertoire of military technology is there, and only if you're in those institutions are you going to. They keep it secret for a reason. But what we can say is that it has to be an incremental amount on top of existing technology there. So it's normally the same sort of things plus a few points. It goes faster, it is quieter, it is more efficient, it can carry more bombs. Anything that is a step change requires, one clever man in a factory in the desert hidden away from people can't do that. It requires other technologies to be working, and normally that requires the wider community as well. So when you get those sideways jumps, they don't stay secret for long normally. And a big example of this is AI. So lots of people say the government has got an AI and it's 30 years ahead of everybody else. Maybe. I can't say for sure not, but I would very much speculate that they wouldn't, and that they also haven't had AI super processing before we've all got it here now, mainly because AI, again, it isn't just the thing that you're making there, that you're writing the code for it to function in a certain way. AI is intelligent because it is trained on all of the data that you and I have contributed to the internet over the years. So 30 years ago, when there wasn't all that Pokemon Go data that kind of mapped the physical world, and there wasn't all of our hissy fits on Twitter, and there wasn't all the weirdness on Reddit that it could train upon there. You can't do that in isolation, so it relied on the wider world to come to that. And I think a lot of this other technology, we start to step into that area as well there. And what's the best alien experience? So for me, it's gonna be some of those, that triangular craft, I think is the top one there. But once we did see this big bright, and I mean big bright orange thing move across the screen, and it was too slow to be a meteorite, it didn't have a tail, but it also was far too big and far too fast to be a satellite, and far too big and bright and orange. I've no idea what the hell it was, and a few other people did see it locally as well there. So this is the thing, we can get to the anomaly, but we can't then say for sure what it is there. A few years, Agent X, what's that for there? And Jonathan, we were put here, but the gravity doesn't work for our bodies there, but animals are fine. So there are a few little clues in our biology that could be interpreted that we're not perfectly evolutionary suited for this Earth there. A few little clues. Maybe somewhere like Mars, with a little bit less gravity, a little bit less of that radiation from the sun. Things like that could point to some sort of shenanigans going on at some point. And recently, well, we now know that Mars was Earth-like for a long time, and it also was habitable and Earth-like before Earth was as well. So there are some interesting things here. Some scientists recently counted the evolutionary steps to our best understanding of evolution, and basically added it all together from very simple life to where we are now, and they went, we are 2 billion years short of habitability here on Earth. But where could that extra 2 billion years come from? Well, Mars was habitable, wasn't it? 2 billion years before the Earth there. So it kind of adds up that there could have been something going on there. And what do you think of Skinny Bob? So Skinny Bob is an alien, purported alien footage there. The Victor alien footage, I think, is stronger, but Skinny Bob is interesting. I wouldn't fully write it off there. And Rachel, they said, I've seen them at 4 this morning. Oh, excellent. You've had another contact there, Rachel. What was that one like there? And Harko there, needle damaged satellites may tumble there, causing the light reflecting off their surface to change. So yeah, anything up there is going to be, if it's rotating, that's where that flashing appears to come from. It's the different surface sizes, different reflectivities with reflecting different amounts of light. So if you imagine like this, look, that is not reflecting much light back to you, but that is there. So if it's rotating, and you're going to get a flash, no flash, flash, no flash. But the trick is most satellites, especially these days, they need to be pointed in a direction, don't they? Communication satellites need their antennas pointing down to the ground so we can communicate with them. They need their solar panels pointing at the sun to keep them charged. If it's a spy satellite, it needs its needs its camera lens pointing down, doesn't it? Or if it's Hubble, it needs camera lens pointing up. If it's rotating, it's broken, or it's, you know, the end of its life there. And Jonathan there, I think more ahead than 30 years. I think they can be in some way, but a lot of these things don't work in isolation, and we don't allow. We're far more connected than we think we are here, and like this is a big thing that the Chinese have trouble with as well there, and it's that, like, best way to describe this is that Einstein, he was genius, but he wasn't a 10x genius. There were other people that were on the same track as he was at the time. Einstein just took the clues and the work from other people and then took it to the next level, and that's kind of how it works. Normally maybe people would do half a step at a time, and Einstein kind of did 5, and that's why he stuck out a bit, because he was a little bit further ahead there. But you know, Einstein relied on other people's work to give him the inspirations, how art works. They're inspired, and then they take that and pass it on to the next level. So the idea that you just take intelligent people and hide them away in a warehouse somewhere, and then they make something that's so far ahead of anything else, that's not humanity. The human mind doesn't work fully like that. So I don't think they can be too far ahead. They can be incrementally so, but I'd be really surprised unless they were reverse engineering. That is the cusp of this one, isn't it? Have they recovered something which inspired them, which gave them clues of where to look, and now technology is a bit further ahead there. And how is everyone tonight? Tick, it's good to see TikTok Raiders, good to see you in there as well. Keep up the good spot in bat. I'm a bit behind in the chat there, and Mars sounds about right. I mean, there are a lot of interesting clues with it there. And Paul, thank you for the follow. Where are you joining us from tonight there? Tubers, I'll get back over to you in a second. Just catching up here there. And why are some of the satellites slower than others there? Is it because they are further away? As Naomi, spot on, as a rough rule of thumb, and it does vary, does vary, but as a rough rule of thumb, if they're all going ish at the same sort of speed there, terminal velocity falling to Earth, doing that speed closer to the Earth versus the same speed around, it's a bigger circle, isn't it, to go there? But it's a very rough rule of thumb there. And it was puzzling to say the least there. At first it was stationary for 6 minutes, and then it moved up. Now that is very, very interesting there, Rachel. What can do that, especially at that time in the morning? Nobody's going to be messing around with their drone, are they, in your back garden at that time there? And Jonathan, I do think it's massively fascinating there. And another clear night wayfinder, 100% there. But Nana, how are you doing, OG Banana? Thank you for the gifts there. All goes back into the stream. And Liam as well, they've been on 5 minutes and seen about 10 satellites already. The skies are so busy. There's a nice bright one coming up the middle there, and it's in slow motion as well. Right? That is a phenomenal sight in there. Banana, lovely night for it. We have been so lucky. Right, let's get back over to the patient YouTuber there, see how you guys are doing. Where was we in the chat there? Yeah, that was the one, Nelly. Good spot on there. And Minnow there, do you ever stop to take a breath? Funnily enough, no. I forget to drink as well. I honestly, I do. We have a couple of people in chat that have to give me hydration reminders, because I do forget to breathe and to drink. So, there. And where are we? There, Chris as well. The Greys seem to work for another race, like the Tall White. So I've heard that, you know, there's always somebody in control. A lot of those abduction accounts there, they do say there's a man behind the curtain. Sometimes it's the Nordics, the Tall Whites. Sometimes we've even heard the Mantis as well. There. Some people claim they have been taken aboard spaceships and examined there as well. We've heard it, and you know what? I mean, we're talking about plausibility here. If we look to the universe that we're looking at now, the current mainstream understanding, like scientific principle, is that life is going to be goddamn abundant, and then it's just a numbers game, isn't it? That civilizations are out there. We know that things like warp drives are theoretically possible. If you are advanced enough, you can produce enough energy to use them. So then, you know, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen at some point, isn't it? And what would a species do if they're coming over here? They would examine us. They would have a look, wouldn't they? They would want to know how we work and all that sort of things. We know we would. We do it to animals, don't we? Ourselves there. So there's a plausibility to it. I don't know how much I believe any one particular case, but the overall principle, I very much think it's very, very plausible there. And it is so freaky there. And who was that? Magnus Pike. Who's Magnus Pike? That name rings a bell. there. And no, can't slow down. We've got a lot of messages there, Minnow. If it's not your cup of tea, that's fine. But I've got a lot to get through. Where are we? Jason as well. Some people in Texas are crazy. There was a man and he was driven down the road and heard a bang on the back of his truck, and he looked around. There was an alien in his truck, and he slammed on the brakes there, and it jumped off and run to the forest. So it's encounters like that kind of seem a little bit more animalistic, doesn't it? It's not quite the same as... Is it now? It's not quite the same as a controlled, intelligent being there that's a master of technology and the environment and all of that sort of stuff there, is it? It's... Yeah, that seems a little bit more random, into the more spookier, the paranormal side of things, but I've heard things like that. And where... Alright, there we go. I think we are up to date on the chat over there now. Where are we? Let's have a look. Where are we? Over on the TikTok chat. What do you make of the White House investigating all of the missing scientists? So, I want them to. I think it's a very, very interesting angle. It's a very, very interesting angle. But I don't know, A, with the best will in the world, how good they're going to be at it. And also, are they being forthcoming with it? Because just as mentioned earlier, it might have been yourself that mentioned this earlier, that basically... Oh, let's scroll it. Let's zoom in on this one.
Zoom mode activated.
You know, Trump said he was going to tell us about the drones, wasn't he? You know, but just before he got in office there, and didn't. So, I mean, you know, you can only trust politicians as far as you can throw them. That one's pulsing in and out a little bit there. That's probably just as it caught. That'll be a one flash and it'll fade down. It's probably as it just caught that perfect angle there. But that is a nice and bright one. See this in earlier as well. We're talking about the brightness of some of these, wasn't we? And that is a good example of that. It's clear white, but it's also much, much brighter. But yeah, so how much do we trust them doing it? I hope that they do, and they are up front with all of that there. And where are we? Let's bring this one over to it as well there. A green and dim red light there. Very, very interesting there. Green and a dim red light. I mean, Rachel, that is very anomalous. There's nothing that I can think of that is a sort of a prosaic explanation for something like that. That seems to be quite clear. Like, if that was in front of me, I would be 100% convinced there. Have you watched the new Bob Lazar movie, Banana? Yes, and I thought it was really, really good. Very much enjoyed it there. What did you think of it there? Some people have got more questions from it. I feel like I got more answers, and then I also got more questions as well. And I'm not saying that I'm skeptical of Bob, but I don't know, it just brought up more questions that I wanted to ask it there. And is there any constellation that has the most activity? That is a very, very good question, and we do want to plot this actually. So it's surprising, or surprised me, that a lot of where people claim that these aliens are coming from are close by sort of stars and star systems. You know, there's a bit of like an overlap, and I would love to kind of plot a sky map of saying, there's beings from here, there's beings from there, there's being there, and it makes logical sense, doesn't it, that these people, if people are visiting us and neighbours from other planets or whatever, or other star systems, that the closer by ones are going to be the easier ones, isn't it there? Although if you do go back to the earlier days of the UFO, UAP phenomena there, and alien encounters, I've got some movement on screen, guys, keep tracking of those. So if you sorry, my brain's gone dead for that one. Yeah, if you go back to the early days, they used to say, when asked, they would claim that they were from Mars or from Venus, and then as soon as we knew culturally that actually, you know, we know what the surface of Venus is like and things like that, then they started to change. Now, does that point to that the people maybe claiming those experiences were mistaken, or maybe, you know, making it up? Or could it be that the phenomena itself, I mean, would if you landed somewhere and you wasn't there to make first contact in an official way, you're taking taking your samples, you're doing things. Would you tell the beings that you encountered, oh yeah, no, we're just from a nearby star? Would you fully explain it there? You know, maybe they were just kind of fobbing us off. Maybe they're still doing that to some degree. I think the Betty and Barney Hill case, it came out later, doesn't it? I think it was Zeta Reticuli, which is where the Greys are meant to be from. They pointed to that star system, but they're never normally particular about, or necessarily specific about, a star. I think there's one case, a very interesting case, where they are specific to a star there. And Jonathan, with the satellites now, why don't they show us a live of the moon's surface? And it baffles me there. So they probably could now. I mean, there are a handful of orbiters around the moon, you know, and they are sending that information. Also having a bit of a sulk on TikTok. Sorry, guys. Hopefully that'll sort itself out, the connection there. But yeah, I mean, you can look at the still images, but no live. Is it a data? Is it a bandwidth thing? I mean, even we look at what SpaceX are able to do with how they're able to film their launches and all of that sort of stuff there, and the quality and the range of coverage that they're able to do. Janie, thank you for the heart there. Appreciate that. The range of coverage and things like that. But then you look what NASA was doing in the Artemis mission. We were watching that live, and I shite you not, they literally strapped a GoPro to the outside of the damn thing and went, yeah, that'll be enough for the live feed. And I'm like, this is our shot of the moon, and that was better from a 35-pound lens here from Earth. You know, they don't have a lot of consideration to the showmanship of the event, which I think is a massive mistake there. And hey, that's what scientists are like. They're focused on the science, or the engineers are on the engineering there, but actually it's a little bit of everything. And if they put on a bit of a show, if they showed people a little bit of what they want, got the excitement up there, they'd find that they'd have a larger bloody budget to actually do the science in the first place with their D3 again, good spotting there. And Ethan there, I'm back, and after 3 years of astrophotography, I finally caught a shooting star on camera. Ethan, congratulate, that is very, very difficult. That is pretty cool. If you're in our Discord group, do post it in there. We'd love to see that there as well. Janie is in there, and I sent you the footage, but I have to resend it. I'll have a check in a second there, Rachel. That's awesome that you managed to catch it as well there. And the next there, Trump, White House removed Trump from the HEP file. Not surprising. There, manipulation. There, the one looked really thin and dim. It did. White House is a joke. Of course it is. All the political institutions are. And they're considering some of the MAGA, I think, UFOs are demons. They are not going to show us anything. Well, that is actually a big part of it there. Some people are, you know, so convinced that these are angels and demons and things like that, and we shouldn't be messing with it there. Depending how big of a push that is, how much pressure they can put on there, that is a big thumb on the scale for disclosure there. Now, I'm open to having a conversation around it there, but anybody that is dogmatic, and I'm the same with people with very strict beliefs. I can understand a strict belief, you know, we're a product of our experiences and things like that. Nathan, how are you doing over there on the tubes? We're a product of our experiences, but if you're going to have a discussion, if you want to solve a problem there, you've got to have an open mind when you come to the table there. Otherwise, you're just telling people. And honestly, I don't think any one person's got this 100%. But, you know, from the point that could they be angels and demons, as in that's how we interpreted them back in the day, 100% there. But do I think angels and demons are any more correct of a fit than little green men from other planets or from fairies or fae? I think we're all painting the same picture here with different words, and probably doing just as bad of a job. Whatever time there. Oh, a faint red and green light is probably a plane at high altitude. So that is true, but there's definitely clear flashing though. That's the thing with planes. There's a clear flashing, and I think Rachel said it was stationary for 6 minutes. Stationary. So that's quite interesting as well. But yeah, it was good for sure there. I need to watch the second half again. Fell asleep. But it was good. I think it was fantastic to actually have a chance to see somewhere like S4 visually, like with our eyes there, be able to walk around it. That's what interests me. I'm a very visual person. So I like the idea of exploring that space and things like that. They're apparently going to be releasing the S4 that they built for the film, because it's built in a video game engine, but they're going to be releasing that as a virtual reality experience. So at some point we'll get a virtual reality headset, we'll plug you guys into it with us, and we'll actually do an exploration of S4. There's it, Gemini A up there, and Mr. Money, how are you doing tonight? Thank you for the shares there. Right, I'm going to quickly pop back over to the tubes, and then I'll come back to finish off the TikTok messages there. Do appreciate you guys waiting patiently patiently as we're trying to get through all of the messages here. Where are we? Chris there. Thoughts on the theory that Mars was nuked a million years ago and that destroyed the biosphere. So, this Mars being nuked, there is a surprising amount of evidence for that. There is an element on there that we, as far as we know, and we're pretty confident on this, can only be made in two ways. And this element is absolutely abundant on the surface of Mars, and it's an outlier for anybody in our solar system there. And is it Xeon 1-2 Summit or other? I don't know. There, but basically, it's fast nuclear reactions there. So not just the atomic bomb, but the hydrogen bomb is the way that we make that here on Earth, or in a supernova. And you think, well, supernova, that's a brilliant excuse, isn't it, of how that could end up there. But problem is, if Mars was exposed to a supernova, they're very big and they're very dangerous, so the rest of the solar system would have been exposed as well. But Mars has loads of this element. And there's also another one, it's a calcium as well, which is associated to a nuclear weapon. But not only that, if you trace, there seems to be the airburst pattern. So if there's something like that was to explode in the atmosphere, you know, that shockwave would go around, depositing material around the sphere of Mars. And it looks like you've got the peak of the initial impact, the ground zero from that burst, and then there's a peak as that shockwave went around the sphere of Mars, bounced off of each other, and there's another peak on the opposite side. There are lots of little clues. Look how bright that one is there. And tubers, can you see? I think it's just off the edge for you guys there, but that's a good one coming up. But yeah, so there is actually evidence for Mars being nuked, and then you take into account all of the weird anomalies on the surface. There's something going on there. It could definitely be a contender for the atmosphere, or the lack of atmosphere now that Mars has, and therefore the lack of, you know, the lack of oxygen, the lack of protection and all that sort of stuff. They're stripping that atmosphere away and making it inhospitable there, and Nathan is in there and teaching new words. I like thank you, Nathan. And Paul there, I do think they're demons and angels and extraterrestrials. I think it's a very multi-complex. Paul, 100% there. I think that there are interesting angles on this. I think anything is going to be our human interpretation. Like maybe the literal angels and demons that they were describing, you know, in the religious texts, maybe they are like, you know, the same beings coming from these planets and things like that. Maybe they're the ones who are in control. But I still think it's probably our interpretation of what is going on there, rather than the literalness of it. But somebody did make a very good point, and this is surprisingly true, that basically the more advanced your technology, the tighter your civilization has to be. Like the more rule abiding, the less friction, corruptions and wars there, because the more advanced you get, the more dangerous you're able to be. And look at the fact that we have nuclear weapons. Can you imagine if they had nuclear weapons back in feudal times? They would have been going off left, right and centre, because there was none of that shared relationship that we have now. But so now it's bad enough, you know, definitely not the end of our journey of development there, but you have to kind of work closer together to then have, not only does that allow you to develop those more advanced things, but it also allows you to be able to have them and not destroy yourself. And they were saying that, look, if you've got warp drive technology, if you can be somewhere that is basically instantaneously, that is such a dangerous weapon in of itself. It's not just a mode of transport, it is a weapon, but also that is energy, and energy is a weapon. So therefore, the only way your civilization can survive having that technology is either if you're all 100% on the same page, very strict rule abiding, or you're all totally independent and chaotic, and therefore two people's argument can't cascade and affect the whole group because everybody is isolated as individuals. Here we go, got a nice flashing one on the screen. Zoom in on that one, and therefore that is a very similar analysis.
Zoom mode activated.
To angels and demons. Now that's quite a good flash on that one. It's quite a bright, fast repetition. Like, if that wasn't so high up, I'd say that has a chance of being a strobe that is flashing. So what we are observing now, guys, are those things in low Earth orbit that are reflecting the sun's light back to us. Now, it may have gone around for us here on the surface, hence it's night, but it has not gone fully round the back there, and therefore those things that are quite far off the surface can still have a direct line of sight, can bounce that light back to us. So whatever that is most likely not emitting light. Satellites don't have headlights. They're just reflecting that sun's light back. But the ET craft, potential UFOs, the difference is, well, they would reflect that light back as well. They're a solid object up there to bounce that light back down to us. So they're going to look very similar. But they also may emit light, and that will be a key, because when the sun goes fully round, we stop seeing all of the movement on the screen. But yet we're still seeing those one or two. That could point to the fact that whatever it is that we're following is emitting light rather than just simply reflecting it. But that's a nice orange colour as well, though. And where are we? Back over on the tube. So quite a few messages behind on the TikTok story there. And Pink Floyd, thank you for the gifts. Appreciate that. All the gifts and subs and patrons do go back into the stream. But if you are just joining us tonight, guys, we're doing a live UFO UAP Skywatch coming to you live from Wiltshire in the UK, which is right in the heart of Crop Circle country and just down the road from Stonehenge. So do make sure you're following, because we do this every night. If it's clear, we're doing this, the Skywatch. If it is cloudy, then we do what's an alien radio signal hunt there, like the film Contact or the recent Apple TV series Pluribus, something like that. We are listing out there on the hydrogen line where scientists think AT might leave us a message there. So yeah, if you're following, you're subscribed, whatever it might be, hopefully you'll get those notifications when we go live there. Are the White House going to investigate something they are more than likely involved in? Well, this is the thing, conflicts of interest. And even if it might not be an individual president, a lot of the same teams are still there, running the show behind the scenes. It's normally only the heads that get replaced, isn't it? So, yeah, this is part of the reason why it's so entwined. And that's why corruption is so difficult to weed out there. Good spot in there, Harco. I'm a bit behind. And Rachel there. Guess what else, everyone? Travis Walton and Betty and Barney abductions are getting called fake there. Now, Travis has always had that. I mean, there's always the odd detractor there. What's the news? Why are people now calling it fake? That's very interesting. What's been the update? Oh, actually, no. Wasn't it Travis's brother-in-law's come out and said, "Oh, it was all fake"? But why would you do that now? It doesn't make sense to toe the line unless you're saying, look, this is why I kept it a secret. There's a very slow one. Some of them, the speeds are different there, but we need to see the speed change live for us on the screen there. And Wayfind Venus is very interesting there, and I read that Venus has many mysteries and alien secrets. I could believe it. Venus was meant to be Earth-like, so 3 planets in a row being Earth-like, but also those 3 planets, Venus, Earth, and Mars, are still giving off biosignatures. Obviously, the Earth is packed with life. We're experiencing that there's an organism, a creature, a species for every niche, every environment here on Earth, isn't there? But we look to Mars, and we have detected life in so many ways on so many occasions that to say that there is no life or there isn't evidence for life on it, you just need to check the literature. It is there. That we have literally done tests on the surface of Mars and they've come back positive multiple times for life. There is microbial life at the very least on Mars still there, but the clouds of Venus may also have microbial life. We detected that as well, and I even recently heard from a NASA scientist now still working there. He dropped this one line, and I've not heard anybody else talk about this. That's a nice one going across the screen. Not heard anybody else talk about this one yet. But he says in those very few pictures that we have from the Venusian surface, because it's like hell down there, very, very high pressure, very corrosive atmosphere, very, very hot. It is the definition of hell, isn't it? They said you could argue that in those images are what appears to be crustaceans. And I'm like, man, you've got to draw the red circle around that. I need to see this. But he was a very intelligent, still respected scientist there. So, I mean, it would make sense. These atmospheres, probably light didn't change overnight, and therefore life to some degree, not all life on the planets by far, but some of the life may have found ways to evolve and to survive there. But if there is life, at the very least, on 3 planets in a row in one solar system, what does that say about life everywhere? It says it's probably going to be absolutely everywhere we look at there. We have, as humans, have to be brainwashed there to think there is no life out there. It's crazy. And I think it is also somebody said this, it's just like, it's what was the word they used, because it was spot on there, egotistical, essentially, that we're so special that we can be the only ones out there. And we haven't learned, have we, from the days of Copernicus, that, we shouldn't assume that we are special. There is an argument, as far as to the data that we have, to be made, that we could be special. There are anomalies that we know within our solar system about our planet, and the fact that we have the large spherical moon like we do a planetoid moon for our size planet is odd. None of the others match up like that in the solar system. We have got more biological material on this planet than a planet this close to the star its host star should form with. There's a few little things that you could say, okay, maybe there is something special about us there, but the problem is that we don't have a lot of good comparisons out there. You know, we just don't have the tools to collect and process the data to say, look, we've checked 1,000 other solar systems, and you know, there's no Earth-like planets and things like that. We just haven't really looked.
Zoom mode activated.
There we go. This was just zooming in this one, because this was flaring. Oh my god, it's moving away now. Where's it gone? Oh, just as it there. So if we can catch it in shot again. So remember, guys, a lot of these are going to be man-made satellites. We need to observe them doing something strange, something a satellite just can't do, like stop dead, shoot off its speed, change its course, its trajectory, something like that. But yeah, Venus is a strong contender. I think our linear development of humanity and life, I think, look, it's a great starting point if you don't know. Right, if you're going to put your stick in the mud, right, and go, right, we've got to have some structure that we can attach our findings to understand the world, biology, and how everything works, right? But don't ever mistake your holding structure for reality, and that's what we're doing. Science says, oh, well, this is our structure, and you go, yeah, but you've done so little research, you've taken so little experiments in the scheme of things. You know, it's like the fossil record, you know, looking for early life. It's like we just, fossils are so rare, you're not going to get an accurate picture, which science definitely says the same thing, but then they will say quite confidently that, well, why would humanity be that old? And you go, no, you're starting from the wrong position there. We can't say humanity is that old without the evidence. That makes sense. But you also cannot equally say that it isn't. That's the bias that they have at the minute there. Oh, good night, Lee. Thank you for joining us. We'll catch you later on in the week there. And ask ChatGPT how many times Trump's name was. Oh my god, definitely triple digits there. Oh, dip it out there, but thank you for joining us. We'll catch you tomorrow night. I hope you rest up there. Oh, Gemini. Oh, what's Queen 3.0? I've not heard of that one. There, A2 Harko, good spot in there, and Alfie there. I have to go for now, but might be back later. Alfie, hopefully we will catch you later on as well there. Guys, if you are joining us tonight, so we're doing a live UFO UAP Skywatch coming to you from Wiltshire in the UK. Right in the heart of crop circle country. So lots of interesting things in the night sky like this, but until it does something strange, guys, stop dead, shoot off its speed, change course or trajectory, we are not going to be able to say that that is anything other than just one of the many, many satellites up there. So keep your eyes on it, even if we zoom back out. But if you're joining us, do say hello, let us know where you're watching from tonight. I'm a few messages behind on the TikTok chat, but the YouTubers, you are quiet tonight, so plenty of opportunity to jump in there for some chat. Do say hello, let us know where you're watching from, and if you've ever had an experience with the phenomenon, we'd love to hear about it there. And Frog, D3, so I'm so far behind, but keep up the good spot in there. And what are our thoughts on pulsars? So pulsars are very, very interesting. Basically, they are like radio lighthouses. So in a way that a lighthouse kind of spins and therefore waves that beam of light out across the sky, pulsars are they dead stars that have condensed down into a very fast spinning sphere that are now emitting very high powered radio waves, but as they spin, it's kind of like that lighthouse, so you get these sounds that go, and we're detecting them. I mean, when astronomers first detected it, they thought alien, and then they kind of figured out that it was probably these sort of things. But there is an argument that they could be used, they could be adapted, they could be amended as a sort of an interstellar GPS, so you know where you are by judging your distances from all of these pulsars. So I'm very much open to it there. And Gribbid, thank you for the gifts, appreciate all of that. Oh, so much movement on the screen. Even still at this time, guys, the skies are still alive there. Good question, Rachel, there. And where's that music coming from? That's just the background music. This is the first time you've heard it. You've been in here a year, Agent X. There. And I've just seen a couple of small flashes in the bottom of A2. Oh, interesting. Right. If they come back, so singular flashes can be when that satellite is on its arc there. And just as it kind of peaks, see how my hand just got brighter there? from my light and then comes off. It can kind of basically be like that. It just brightens up the solar panel, gives it a flash, and as it moves. But if that flashes from the same position multiple times there, it doesn't appear to move, everything up there should be moving. Satellites are in motion, they're in orbit. The geostationary satellites aren't in this part of the sky by some way. So that can be very anomalous indeed there. And Nasha, where do you get this information from? So interesting. Nasha, you guys, it's you guys that come in and chip in and ask all of the questions there. I just literally repeat a lot of these things from you guys there. So that is why it's so important you guys ask the questions that you're curious about, or share the information that you know. Maybe it's something in the news. It can be science news, it can be space science news, it can be ET, UFO, alien news there. Maybe it's your experience there. But we love A, all the questions, and B, sharing your knowledge, your understanding of the phenomena as well. Well, another flash now. This could be an interesting one. I've got my eye on that area. I'm going to try and keep one eye on that and one eye on the chat now, see if we can zoom in. And Whitney Strieber says they are future and maybe past. There's something closer to home there. So is that the Greys, that one? I mean, it does fit in. You know, for the evidence we have, it does fit in, doesn't it, there? And we don't survive anything related to a nuclear there. So, well, this is quite interesting actually. Like we have this fear of nuclear weapons, and I think quite understandably, and just nuclear technology in general. Like we horrified ourselves at what we were capable of as a species, but it is also not fully true. There is always the version, and what the real fear is that, you know, a full-on nuclear exchange would happen there. One person launches one person launches another nuke there, and then another, and all of a sudden there, the whole world is not only splattered, but also radioactive, and it would cause, you know, throw so much dust up into the atmosphere that it would block the sun's light, therefore no heat, and would get what's called a nuclear winter. No crops would grow, and basically it would just bugger everybody there. And that is the worst case scenario that nobody wants to happen there. But actually, nuclear weapons in of themselves aren't that bad unless you're in the way of it, basically. I was very surprised when studying the Cold War that a lot of our plans in the UK here, and it's a small island for surviving it, were, look, if you weren't in direct line of it, and the wind's blowing the right direction, you're all right. I mean, it'll be pretty hard and you'll probably lose a few loved ones, but it wasn't the end of the world. And same with the nuclear technology. Often you get Fukushima or Chernobyl raised as you look at these nuclear disasters. And yes, you know, they're not good things, but we emotionally treat nuclear as like the end of the world. But yet there have been many nuclear disasters, and it's for a few square miles, it's a bit rough. There, but I think what kind of cracked that nut for me was that when you realise that there are hundreds, and I mean literally hundreds, of abandoned, currently melting down nuclear reactors strewn over Russia and the former, Soviet states there. Because what they would do, they had these mini nuclear reactors that they would power lighthouses and things like that, and they would just leave them up in the mountains. Nobody's got to go up there and change the battery. And at the end of the Cold War, people stopped looking after them, and they started to rust, and they started to go critical and melt down. And look, it's not great if you're next to the bloody thing. It's probably not great for the little stream down the road. That frog has got 12,000 eyes, but the world hasn't ended. And that isn't an excuse for us to get cavalier and to start throwing nuclear weapons around, or to not be cautious. But also, we need to correctly label our threats. So personally, I call it putting it in its box. This is a practice that I have as an individual there. When something's stressing me out, I need to make sure I'm putting the dragon in its box. Because if I put it in a box that's too big, that's taking up space that it doesn't need. And if I put it in a box that's too small, it's sticks out of the box and causes a problem there. And sometimes you do have big dragons. I think a nuclear bomb going off anywhere is a big bloody dragon. But if you treat everything as the end of the world, there are not many things that are literally the end of the world out there. I mean, an asteroid coming in, a big old comet, that's going to be pretty bad for us there. That might be the one time that we go, panic, lads. But everything other than that, it's got to be a step down of it there. Because it isn't as in fact, most war scenarios actually about how a nuclear exchange would go, most of those the computer simulations there, having all the brain boxes, understanding and the game theory, actually every time it came up that how nuclear war would most likely start and end is one tactical nuclear weapon on a NATO ship in the Baltic Sea, or around that sort of part there. And basically the theory is that would blow the ship up, and then everybody would go, whoa, that got a bit close, right, let's talk. That's every simulation that went with it. So I find it really, really fascinating there with it there. And Kessler there, I need a cup of tea, and said I'd make it as soon as I didn't see something moving in the sky and still waiting. I've been there before, because the last few nights I'm going to go to bed when the sky quietens down. I'll go to bed when the sky quietens down. 2 in the morning, you know. Oh, and Proudly did have them there. Something happened in India that can't be explained. It was nuclear. So there was what's the name of the village that they uncovered it, and the locals didn't know it was there. For some reason, they did an archaeological dig, found this city with bodies all in situ, and apparently it had like high levels of radiation. It was implying that there was a nuclear attack had happened on this ancient city. I've heard some people debunk it, and I'm at the point that I just don't know the science enough to know who's lying or who's not with it. But you know, is it the Vamanas and all the ancient Indian texts there are just, they talk about not only flying craft in the sky but these big weapons. There are indicators that could be it. It's not slam dunk, but it does make you think, doesn't it? It is interesting there. And Necrobug there as well. Thank you for the follow. Where are you joining in there? And good spotting Naomi with the flash there. And Pete said, ahoy, pirate game. Oh, God, I forgot about that. I want to do the pirate game again soon there. And Jonathan there. This is like Art Bell there. Back in the day. And great. Thank you, Jonathan. It's very, very kind. But yeah, I rely exclusively on you guys keeping me up to date there. Nature for putting on the show there. Do miss Art Bell. Nobody quite has the right tone, do they? It's like I'm constantly hungry and I'm never satisfied. I mean, there's lots of great people. We are sport for choice for intelligent, deep researchers on the subject. The information that we get out now, I mean, what a time to be alive. But there's something cozy about Art Bell that just, that itch doesn't get scratched for me now. There. Not introduced a typical human response there. Well, I mean, yeah, typical human in a lot of ways there. You know, we are creatures of habit. We are more animal than we realise there. And Frogskull, thank you for the follow. Where are you joining in from tonight to there? And Ben there. I hope I haven't missed anything. I zoned out for a bit. Ben. I know, Alan, I know. I don't think we've had lots of movement, but I don't think we've had the anomalous movement yet. We had a couple of colours. Maybe you see that? A couple of oranges there, some nice flashing ones there. And what goes up will come down someday. Harco, exactly. There are very few orbits up there that won't eventually re-centralite into wherever their body is that they are orbiting. Some of them are very, very long. I think there is certain orbits that somebody was saying, look, if the Romans had put a satellite up there, it would still be up there in certain orbits. But there are others that, you know, you have to maintain them every bloody day or they're going to come back in. A really amazing one that I liked was this. There was a Venera probe, which was a Russian series of satellite probes that they all went to Venus there, or if they made it. And yeah, the Venera missions there, and they were built like tanks because of, as we said, the pressure on the surface there. They were not like your normal probe.
Zoom mode activated.
They were designed to survive the Venusian atmosphere there. But this particular one did its first stage launch, and then something went wrong with the second stage, and it didn't end up going in orbit to Venus and never made it there. But last year, there was this strange object in orbit, and all the scientists were trying to figure out what this thing was, and they figured out it was this lost Venus probe there, built like a tank, and it re-entered Earth last year. Now, I think it's quite beautiful because there was a very big chance, we definitely don't know for sure, but there was a big chance that probe would eventually think, when it entered Earth's atmosphere, that it had eventually made it to Venus. Because it wasn't the probe that itself was at fault, it's to do with the rocket stage. That probe, possibly, battery's dead, but solar panels and all that, was probably just sitting there, waiting, you know, and then, you know, all of a sudden it goes, oh, right, we've entered an atmosphere, right, go through the process, lads, deploy the chutes, and things like that. It would think it was entering Venus, but no, it's coming back down to Earth there. Now, if it still did and it still worked, which again is quite unlikely, but if it did, those parachutes were designed for the thicker atmosphere of Venus there, so it just would have still come down like a brick. But again, it was built like a tank, so they were a bit worried that it might come down on an inhabited area. Now, it did re-enter. I think it's very romantic to think of that, but they don't know where, and that just goes to prove the point that even in this day and age, we do not have, by far, a good understanding, a good, there's something entering or exiting our atmosphere. Those ETs can come and go almost as they please still there. And we find there, why was there no steam and a bubbling seawater around Artemis when it landed? Good question. Who asked that one yesterday? Jonathan, thank you for the gifts. Appreciate those. I'll go back into the stream. But why was there not? Now, is that to do with the way that those heat tiles dissipate the heat? Because I could, and I don't know this at all scientifically, but I could totally believe that, they are designed to dissipate heat, because otherwise the whole thing will burn up on re-entry. That is their job, isn't it? There. So maybe that the way that they do that, and then combined with the slow land, that's enough time for it to acclimatise and to adjust there. But I don't know that. But that would be my guess there. But we need a scientist to answer that one. It's a good question. There are very interesting questions to ask around all of these things. And Jonathan, it does make me wonder about the prison planet theory. Yes, I mean, the prison planet, a zoo planet. I'm a few steps away, I think, from the prison planet, because I need to know why we are imprisoned. What did we do? What's the danger there? Because I do hear a lot of things around, humanity being violent and dangerous. And I feel like that's a lot. It's our cultural attitude of humanity. It's a very human thing to think of humanity like that. I don't necessarily think aliens in the vastness of time and all of that variation they may have seen would assume that we are disproportionately violent than anything else. If you've seen chimps, if you've seen the rest of nature, I mean, bloody hell, wasps, paralyze like grubs and larvae, inject their eggs into them, and then their eggs, whilst this thing is still alive, will feed on it and incubate the thing, all whilst paralyzed but still alive. I mean, if we're talking about cruel, insects are pretty damn cruel. We're just bigger and more capable, so I don't think aliens would necessarily think that we're particularly, but maybe we are. I don't know that. And how you doing, Pluto? Good to see you. I'm so many messages behind on the TikTok, guys. I am 55 messages behind. Just give me a second there. So it is fast there. And Grimmage there, good evening. How long are you going to be on tonight? That is a good question there. I'm going to sometime midnight at the latest, but we'll see how we go there. And Pink Floyd, good question there. So either half past or on the hour. We'll have to see how we go in there. And gone, I missed much. We've had some good flashing, and we've had some very interesting colours tonight there. Really fast, that one. Is that Stellar Dat? Good labelling there, Harco. I'm going to quickly pop back over to here there. And a slight smile there, Algus. And where are we? Raven there. What happened to the Black Knight object that was in Earth's orbit? That is a very, very good question there. And the idea that the Black Knight is a proposed, potentially alien or elder civilization, a pre-humanity civilization, maybe got technologically advanced and then wiped out, but they may have put a satellite up there. Or distant aliens monitoring our planet. And there's a few images that report to be a potential Black Knight. Now, there are lots of things that are up in Earth's orbit that we monitor and we track, and we don't know what they are, and we don't know where they come from. So I think it is highly possible. There's even some very radio signal anomalies that point to something like that potentially being happened. And there's no confirmation, but I've said this a couple of times recently. I think that's why they developed the space shuttle, to go and have a closer look at objects like that one. So many movements then. A1 going to the opposite way. Good spot in there. It is so alive tonight. I can't zoom in on all the good ones, but the anomalous ones I'll zoom in on there. But keep up the good spot. And what we need to see is we need to see it do something strange. So if it's just steady speed, straight, keep your eye on it. Keep it, following it whilst it's going across the screen there, because we need to see it change its course, its trajectory, its speed. A little zigzag, an interstellar handbrake turn, something like that could say to us that it's definitely not one of the many satellites that are up there. So that's what we need to see. And if you do watch, most of them won't do anything, but every now and again one does, and that is the Eureka. That is what we're after, so keep having a look out there. Where are you joining us from tonight, Alagos? And where are we in the chat? So let's have a look. Scrolling, find out where we are there. And Jonathan, watching from London there, but I love Wiltshire. Interesting place in our country, very old knowledge. So yeah, it is. Again, I'm new to Wiltshire. I'm only a year in. I'm from Essex, so not too far from you there in London, the big smoke. But yeah, it is such an ancient landscape. It is so different. I mean, I visited Wiltshire 1,000 times, but actually living here and just going, bloody hell, that's the same stones that they've got in Stonehenge, but you're using that in your garden. Like, you know, where did that come from? You know, it's just crazy. There's so much history here. It is under every toe, and I think it just kind of feeds in to the general atmosphere of the strange going on there. Gone to London as well there. You keep getting booted, AGX there. You've offended the algorithm tonight there. Flash in C1 now. Keep it up. I haven't spotted it myself yet. And Grimmage there. Is there anything that actually flashes in space that we would be able to see? So, very, very good question. A supernova, if it was close enough, and they think that Betelgeuse, a star, is quite far from us, but it is close enough that if it does go supernova, we expect to see it. There's things like that, but it's not like an immediate flash. They go big and bright for quite a while. Like a quick flash like that, there really isn't. That is just that sun's reflection briefly. So it means there's got to be something up there that will do that. And most natural objects are quite round, and therefore, even as they rotate, their light profile is very similar. It's normally only the man-made objects that have that real difference in reflectivity and sort of surface shape there that gives those strange light profiles. And there's a big anomaly at the minute that what scientists recently went back through those old photographic plate records of the night sky taken by the big observatories and went, we're seeing these sorts of flashing that we're talking about now in the night sky on these photographic plates that were before man was in space, before anything man-made in orbit. So, and China has a missile that is equivalent of 60 warheads. Jesus. I mean, even our what do we call the Trident missiles that we have as our nuclear deterrent here in the UK, I think they've got a ridiculous number of they're all multiple warheads now in this day and age. So it's like, you know, not just the one missile to one place anymore, but yeah, you're right. They do multiple targets there. And gone. I live inside the M25 there, so I don't think I'll be alright. I mean, not too far from where we was there. I mean, I didn't see anything when I was even out on the M25 there in Essex. It was far too light polluted and densely populated there. It's a bit rough. There. We are more at risk of getting probed by aliens. Well, you're 100% at risk of that there, Agent X, unless you complete passport there. And Jonathan, if they ever did drop the bomb on my house, please don't want to live in a bunker. I mean, you look at the maps in this UK, if it did ever go all out and it wasn't just the one, we are a small island realistically, and there's a target pretty close to everywhere, whether it's a nuclear power station, a dock, a big industrial area. Yeah, you are buggered to say, like with the M25, it's probably not worth it. But back in the day when we weren't as connected and interdependent on these things, you know, we could have actually survived reasonably well. It's difficult nowadays because, you know, you get a ship that blocks the Suez Canal, or somebody blocks the Strait of Hormuz, and then it all goes out the window a bit, doesn't it? There, everything starts to fall off. Nobody is as independent anymore there. And the dragon analogy is great as well. Oh, thank you, Pluto. There, that's one that I treat you for my own old mental health with that one. There. There's the flashes. You've seen them. There's so many there, Naomi. But I see one. Let's have a look. So C1 is. Am I looking at the right one? Because I don't have the big grid on my screen. So, you know, I've probably been looking in the wrong area. So in C1, we're looking for a stationary flash in that area. Right, cursor's in it. I'm going to try and monitor a bit better there. Keep up that good spotting, though. How long are you on for? So either past or midnight. So probably midnight, looking, because I've still got more of this chat to get through. Oh, you're on a break at work there. So, and it's 3:30 where you are. Whereabouts in the world is that? I can't think where that time zone would be. It's nearly midnight for us here in the UK. And Jonathan, that was it there. Soil turned to a glass. So that can happen, can't it, from this intense heat, and it can also happen from impact as well. You know, you get these glass spheroids are a sign of potential impacts as well. But they do think, yeah, nuclear was the explanation there. And very interesting. It does make you think, doesn't it? I mean, I'm very quick to it, but quickly with a lot of this, I get to the point where is this too big brain for me? I don't know who's telling the truth, you know. But you've got to keep like a little part of it open for possibility, haven't you? You know, that is the thing, you know. And he was an amazing man there, and a gentleman. He was one of a kind. He kept retiring and then coming back to Dark Bell. No wonder, and thank God he did. Definitely missed there. And where's Tommy, Agent X? You've got to put your hat on and get the other phone out there. Ariane 40 there, Harco. Good spot in there. And I've seen a bit of Rachel, and started sending pictures back off of a farm. Exactly that. Where I'm a bit behind the chat, so I'm following along. It's a bit hard there. And Kevin, the whole world only sees the same side of the moon. Why? Brilliant one here, Kevin. I love this. So, firstly, that is called tidal locking there. And that means that it's technically, it's the sheer gravity so close to its parent body there, the gravitation is just kind of keeping it stuck on one side. We only see the same side here. I mean, it might also be that its actual orbit, it rotates at the same speed, you know, as it also then rotates, you know, orbits around us, as therefore it appears to be the same side. Can't remember which way around it is now, but either way, that's called tidal locking, the same facing us. It's common for like the moons of Jupiter and things like that, but it brings it into the fact, doesn't it, that the moon is weird. And I thought moon conspiracies, lads, were that's it. That's full on tinfoil hat territory there. Yeah, but problem is, more you look at it, the moon is odd. The moon is strange. It's big. It's beautiful. But it's responsible for so many things about life being able to function and emerge here on Earth, to be stable there. But it's also strange in many ways. Like again, that size of a moon, that close to its parent body, us, the Earth, for our size planet is crazy. Mars, which isn't much smaller really than the Earth, it has what appeared to be like captured asteroids, like potatoes. It's got 2 of them, when we've got this bloody massive moon. You know, normally it's the bigger planets that have moons like that, so it does seem a bit weird. But also the moon is meant to be made of the same stuff of the Earth, and apparently they've tested it with the rocks they brought back, and it is, but yet it's only 23% as dense as the Earth. It rings like a bell. It's a very strange, there's lots of strange anomalies. And again, strange doesn't mean that it is 100% there, but there are little clues, like it is exactly 400th the size of the sun, but at 400th the distance. So therefore, it gives us this very near perfect solar, like full-on lunar eclipse there. You know, it blocks, solar eclipse. It blocks the sun out. You know, like I thought that was commonplace. It must happen everywhere in the solar system, in the galaxy, but no, that's actually quite rare. It's insane to think some of this is just a little bit too perfect there. And also, the alleged photos of Earth from Artemis didn't show a single satellite there. Well, I think from that way round, it's probably a scale issue, just because relatively speaking, these satellites are absolutely tiny. So we're really close to them here, but when they were like that far away, absolutely. I mean, even. You'd only probably, and the only reason we can even see the satellites now going past is it's not that dot is respective of how big it is. That is because it's reflecting a lot of light, and we're just seeing the light reflection rather than the actual physical object. It's like a proxy of it. So I can kind of understand it from that distance there. And Dada Johnson there, I am blessing the first 7 people. Well, thank you for the blessings there. And And was the UFO stuff that made you pick where you live now? Ben, it was a happy coincidence. Because I've been as interested as I am now. I didn't express it with all the green, but I'm as interested as I am now in the UFO stuff, always. And I didn't know when we looked at this house and put in the offer anything about it. It was literally, in fact, this little town was a little bit too far out of my range for commuting, and I was like, oh no. But the house was nice, and it's honestly, the country's cheap. I could have afforded a garage if I was lucky in Essex. Oh, that was a good one. Lovely shooting star there. But so yeah, the house kind of sold it to us there, and then I felt, right, okay, let's Google this little town. What's the crime like? What's going on there? You Google it and you go, what's this? The Warminster thing? What the hell is that? And it's this massive UFO flap that happened here in the 60s and 70s. It had all aspects of the phenomena for 10 years solid. It's one of the most consistent things I've heard about, but yet we don't hear about it anymore. So yeah, it's like a match made in heaven there. And by the way, the Lyrid meteor shower, it's to peak the night of April the 21st to the 22nd there, to see towards the northeast and near the constellation Lyra. Ah, excellent there. That'll be good. We'll get a few more people in on that one. So northeast, I think it's tricky for us to get that angle, but we might be able to do it. What date is it today? So it's 21st tomorrow? Yeah. well, I may have to try and catch that there. And James Brown, how are you doing over there on the tubes? Guys, remember to make sure you're following, subscribed, or whatever it is, wherever you are, because we're on pretty much every night, and that way you get those notifications when we go live. Now, back over to the TikTok. Let me see if I can catch up somewhat with the chat. And Adam there, thank you for the follow. Where are you joining us from tonight? I'm a few messages behind, so you have to give us a second there. And I don't see the Great Bear star system anymore. So, good one there, Kevin. And LT and Noah as well there. I'll come to you in a second there, but thank you guys for the follow. Do say hello there. But yeah, so the Great Bear. I know we've caught part of it, because I'm a nightmare with the constellations, especially with a camera like this where you're letting in more light than you can see the human eye. It's really difficult to line them up because the constellations rely, you can't see as many with your eye basically, so it's easy to pick them out. But with this and the camera, I'm like, where am I pointing? Speaking of which, let's spin the camera around. Hold your hats. Come on, camera. Spin. Come on, it's not having it. Right, we're stuck facing there tonight. It's not working. So it's a good question there. But I remember it coming up when I was in the early days trying to line up the stream. So it probably is directly overhead or somewhere around there right now for where I am. And Jonathan, if your mind is open there, you do see things that you can't work out there. But it's there. No joke. Jonathan, the actual human brain, the way we process information, store information, try to understand things, we filter things through what we know. And therefore, we can literally not see things in front of our eyes. Like, we can literally not perceive certain things. Definitely not accurately as well. But there is so many things, the way that we filter these things through. And it doesn't mean that we're correct as well. And this is the thing, is that if your filters, if your map for reality is so different from your experience of reality, that is literally what causes trauma. And you will be then plagued by your brain to figure out why you got it so wrong. If my map says there's no bears here, and I encountered a bear here, I need to figure out why my map was wrong so I know if I can trust it elsewhere. And that becomes a priority, and that's a big issue. But that is what the definition of it is there, because we don't just see what is out there. We think the world is objective, we all see the same sort of thing, blah blah blah, but how we process that information it's insane how the mind works there. And there's a lot of little holes in it, but it's very, very interesting there. And have you heard of the Longdendow lights in Dow? Oh, I don't think I have. Have we got some strange lights over here as well? That's pretty cool. I haven't heard of that one there, Paul. And thank you for that one. And the M25 with the lucky ones. Well, it's a beautiful sight. And Deck there, do you know what the red light going across the sky with a slow flashing light was very high up? So it depends how high up, but normally ones like that are aircraft, basically. It's that sort of steady red light, but it's harder to tell for sure without seeing it. There, got some movement on the screen, guys, but it's not doing anything anomalous yet. Keep your eyes on it, following it across there. And I love the live there. Like many people, we're not wrong there. Keep on until sleep time there. Up at 5. Oh my God, Jonathan, that is brave. I don't think I could do that these days. But thank you for that. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate all of you guys participating, talking away, asking questions, sharing information there. Hopefully, we'll see you all later on in a week there. And amazing, Naomi. Totally. Shooting stars. Have you not got that? No, I've already sent you your passport. That's what the winky face is for. I forget there. Mr. Tom there, do you think when the files are released we will be disappointed? Initially, yes, I think so, because I don't think they're going to be giving anything away, openly. I think even if old Trump did want to do it for whatever reason, I think the people involved in that process would stim it at every given chance. They would throttle it and slow it down there. And I think it'd be like the current Epstein files that we're seeing now. The first draft of those, there wasn't much, was there? And then eventually they got more, and you know that's only the tip of the bloody iceberg, but they did release more. So it's an ongoing process, I think, there. But I also think that disclosure probably, and I used to think that disclosure was the President of the United States there on the White House lawn with a UFO and glurp glop the alien next to him. But you know what? I don't think that's what disclosure is anymore. I think disclosure is what we're doing right now. I think it is us as a species there getting ever more connected through technology like this, doing things like this, experiencing and seeing strange things and sharing our experiences together. Because the more that this happens, the more people will just know people that have had an experience, will know to identify an experience. Because this is the thing, some people have experiences, don't know what they are, but also aliens isn't an option for them. They're not aware of it. It's just science fiction to them. So they go, well, that was strange, but probably the weather, probably a satellite, probably a balloon. And they don't think of it anymore. I can't tell you the amount of times that people have come in here. And, I mean, a lot of the time, some very, very skeptical people come straight in going, it's all satellites. UFOs don't exist. And if you're kind and you go, well, let's unpack that. What do you mean by that? Eventually they come out and go, well, I did see this one thing once. And you go, oh, well, that does sound interesting. And again, we can't say for sure. I'm a guy sitting in a green room with a camera with a very long HDMI lead. I've not got the best tools in the world or access to any information that you don't. But what we do have is our collective computation power, our collective experiences, where those new ideas coming in there, all these little computers of our brains together can process that information, understand it a little bit differently, and maybe piece that puzzle together there. And Adam, there, you see so many satellites. I can imagine most of them are dead. It's surprising how many are up there, and some of them you get zombie satellites as well, which is like the ones that they've thought are dead, and then some weird amateur will go, wait a minute, no, I'm still detecting a signal from that, and they can actually commandeer them and take over them or restart them. There's been a couple. There was a NASA one recently that somebody found it and got logged into it basically and recovered it for NASA, and they're using it again. And there was one that was like an experimental, I think something to do with the GPS system back in the 60s or something, and it's long gone, it's offline, it was going crazy. They found it, it's still transmitting data, they tuned into it, and it's still doing the experiments it was set up to do, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, lots of them are going to be dead, but especially the newer ones, the modern ones, they're all designed to re-enter Earth pretty quickly after they die, because if there's any issues, if there's any loss of contact, that becomes dangerous now, can cause issues. So they're all designed to basically deorbit and, if possible, re-enter and burn up now. So it's getting less and less. So most of them, a lot of them are active now. But that flashing is going to be a key that whatever it is most probably on its way out there. It was Adam and Newsreels. That was it there. Thank you guys for the follow. Where are you joining us from tonight there? And is there a meteor shower tonight? We've seen a couple tonight, actually. And it's going to be tomorrow and the night after. I think I'm going to be the most active for it. So Tuesday and Wednesday, I believe. So guys, make sure that you are, and thank you for the following. Make sure, you're following us there. Hopefully you get a notification when we go live around 9:30 p.m. UK time, because we're based in Wiltshire in the heart of crop circle country. So not only are we going to see some UFOs and some moving objects like this, but we're also going to see some awesome shooting stars. We had a few cool ones tonight there. And Deck there, do you know what the red light going across the sky was? So that one is possibly a plane with that one. If it's slow flashing red lights, possibly a plane. That aligns with their aircraft lights there. How you doing, Kendo? Good to see you there. And Dazza there, skies are black as out tonight there, and clear skies, and it looks bright. It is lovely and clear tonight. We've had a very good run. Let me double check. We're saying that the weather's clear tomorrow, Tuesday. Oh yes, it is still looking clear tomorrow. And Wednesday is looking a bit questionable now, but you never know. It's actually held out a bit more. Thursday's clear. Friday's clear. Saturday, maybe not. Interesting run of weather here. So make sure you're following, subscribed, or whatever it might be there, so you can join us on our quest for the strange and anomalous. But do say hello into the chat. Hopefully I'll be caught up in the chat soon there. We can stay there. But ask any questions. There are no silly questions here. We'll love to hear from you all. And the drip feed the little bits. I mean, they could do. Could be that disinformation or dissemination of information there. Because if reality is very different, literally what we was just saying there, if our understanding, our map of reality is different to what actual reality is, if aliens appeared in the sky, most people go, I didn't know aliens exist. That difference is quite large, and therefore, boom, cultural trauma. It can be an issue there. So to soften us up a little bit, oh, that's a flashing one. Am I going to catch that in time? Culture, they want to...
Zoom mode activated.
Can we catch it? Can we catch it? Ooh. Oh, just a little bit there, but it's not very bright. It was always flaring up there. Just caught it there. But that's possibly why that they're doing it through films and TV there, because they're telling us, and immediately then, even if we got aliens aren't real, everybody at least knows what an alien is. Or extraterrestrial is life from another body. We know it can be strange. Film and TV have answered those questions for us. So rather than just being a gaping hole, of stress, we can now go, is it closer to Alien from Aliens? Is it closer to Alien from ET? You know, we can match it on these things, so maybe that's why they do it. But yeah, any actual information will be drip fed out there, because you don't want to culture shock. I think the new Steven Spielberg one, Disclosure Day, that's coming out in June, is going to be very interesting. What message do they want us to have? You know, is there a baseline of information they want us to know about there? Not aliens, they're sky people there, and I got told off for saying aliens. Well, I didn't realise this because we're in the UK, and aliens for us means extraterrestrial. But apparently, obviously in America, there's a different form of aliens, which is very topical at the minute in the news there. But for us, aliens, little green men from planet Zonk there. And Fort's that good, spotting Harko and Jonathan there. When you see your brain can't work it out, you just look, you don't even go up your camera on your phone there. Yeah, that is it. You are processing, you're trying to understand it. And when people go, why didn't you get a video? Or why is the video you got really crap? I get it, because when I saw something that wasn't like this, I was setting the camera up one night in the early days of the stream, and it wasn't quite dark yet, so the stars weren't out. But I was putting the camera up, getting it all plugged in the garden, and I kind of just looked up and I went, oh look, big bright light flying over. I went, oh, it's the International Space Station. That's caught me out a few times. That's big and bright and fast, and it was just like that. And oh, hello, darling.
That's not what he did. He called
No,
me.
that's a different kind, different time.
Oh, okay.
You're at the wrong stage. That's not time.
Well, I
Yeah,
heard
you thought you're so big and clever, and we're giving the wrong story.
Well,
Yeah,
no, why are
yeah.
you telling that story? That story's better.
I've told them that 1,000 times.
Oh, okay. Who are you talking to now then?
I'm talking to the chat now.
Yeah, but what story are you
So
telling?
now I'm telling, when I set the camera up that time, and I got, so get carried away, I saw this object coming across the sky, thought it was the International Space Station, and then went, wait a minute, it's still light out and I can't see the stars.
Oh.
And then as I'm looking, it appeared to be going, so to my point of view, looked like it went under the clouds. And I went, wait a minute, satellites are too high up for that. So I filmed it, but the problem is I was filming it, but I was watching it, and then I looked at my phone, oh, I'm not actually on it now. So it is the worst, grainiest video. We do have it on our main TikTok page there, that post, so you can see it there. But it's as grainy as hell. But when you see it in real life, you know, you're focused on it, you're trying to understand it, you're subconsciously matching it to the planes that you've seen and its movement, its behaviour there. And there's that, Whip Dad, how are you there? It's LJ there. I don't think you can see the messages on the tubes there. Oh, I've got a few coming in. Did I? I can't see yours on the tube. I think I'm mostly caught up. Maybe they're not all coming. Live chats. Let's have a look on this one. Is this going to reveal any more? Have I been missing any more? Yeah, I can't see your ones on the tube there. Sorry about that one. Thank you for joining us over here, though. Where are we? Let's have a scroll up there. CJS there. We need to send the Sydney Opera House to deep space. I mean, it looks a bit odd, doesn't it, there? And when a picture of a grey alien was shown to an extremely isolated tribe in South America, it claimed their gods were the greys after the show. Yeah, they did, and they do. They go, oh, that's so-and-so. Like, you know, that symbol to them, even out of popular culture, you know, they've not seen the films, they still associated with it. And throughout history, there have been people that have you know, had claims around that. It's amazing, isn't it, that there are these connections. And, you know, I can imagine, to be fair, you know, I'm sure there are some people out there that claim to have, you know, maybe to them they did experience what they experienced, their abduction experience there, but, you know, maybe their perception of it was filtered through their understanding of what they'd seen in media. So I've seen the greys there, but how do you say that for these other cultures there? Very, very interesting there. And when you say moving objects like this, what do you think they are? So a lot of them are going to be satellites there, Tom. Not all of them, and that's what we're looking out for, but most of them will be. So we like the one we just zoomed in on there. We need to follow it and see if it does anything strange there. Satellites have to move at straight, consistent speeds and straight trajectory. So if we see it do a handbrake turn or speed up or slow down, and then we know we've got something a little bit stranger. But we have to keep our eyes on those ones. There, sorry, darling.
Before I go to bed, did you need a drink or anything?
Actually, I'm okay tonight, but thank you, darling. That's very kind. Sweet dreams. There. And which bright star is that in B1 there? And it is a small star. Drewski, you know what? I don't know that one. It is a bit bright, isn't it? That one's just going above it there. And their brains aren't strong enough for this info at the moment there. I mean, Sky people. It might have been the Kessler. And it was Tom there. The brightest dot C2 has moved from the line in the middle. And what is it there? So that one is probably a star. And what's happening is the camera is in a fixed position now. But with the Earth's rotation, the sky is actually moving. Now, it's moving so slowly that you actually have to either, as you've just done there, you're matching it up, going, it was here, now it's here. Or if you sped up the recording of this stream, like if you drag, watch this again later, or go back to one of our other ones, you drag the little dial across there, you'll see the sky slowly moving. Because obviously those objects are so far away, even though the Earth is spinning quite fast, they're moving relatively slowly, compared to us there. And it's like if you're sitting on a train or in a car there, the lampposts going past are very quick. That is the satellites and things, or the moon. But those trees on the hills in the distance are moving very slowly because of that relative effect there. It's a good observation there. And yeah, you might try to say it, and then by the time you get the cameras on it, it's gone. Exactly. And there's a weird connection with the phenomenon that people are saying that, there's as soon as they get that camera out, it might be sitting there, and they go and shorts off there, like it doesn't want to be photographed there. And whip down there, it's pretty hard there. You're excited, rushing to get the camera out. Yeah. Totally there, and then I was absorbed in it there, and they cloak themselves, and there's all these other things at afoot, and also part of their propulsion itself might be one of the reasons why we can't actually take the images of them. Like if they are using the predicted warp drive there that doesn't break physics, then what they're doing is they are bending time and space around them. That will stretch the light as well, so that would literally blur the craft. Also, mist, as their atmosphere, the atmosphere of the warp bubble interacts with ours, can create sort of a misting effect there. Plasma as well, ionized plasma. So there's lots of reasons why these images can be blurry and hard to see the specifics of. In my first few sightings, I were way too excited to get the phone out, and now I'm more prepared. I think, like anything there, you've got to get used to it, haven't you? Because your emotions creep in there as well, yeah. 15 or so messages on the tubes. What? Sorry, tubers, guys. I literally, where are we in the... Oh my god, actually, no, I can see a couple now. Where are we? Let's quickly pop back over to the tubes then, because there are a few there now. So sorry, tubers, if you've been waiting patiently for it there. And Phoenix here in Arizona. I was you in the other day? There, brilliant, lots of history of the UFO phenomena there. And by the way, oh no, I've done the live one there. But James Brown is in there, and where's the UFOs there? I don't see the aliens there. Aqua. So. That's the thing. At the minute, there is not much at the second. There's going to be a lot of satellites, there's going to be a lot of movement there, so you've got to pay attention, you've got to follow it across the screen, and we're looking for that anomalous behaviour there that we mentioned earlier. We need to see it do something strange. And we did see some anomalies earlier on in the stream, but it's gone a bit quiet now. Although there's one moving just off the screen up there, but that is straight as far as I can see it there. And Paul there, have you heard of the oh, see, I did catch that one, but why are the others... It's like either I'm missing it or they're appearing above afterwards there. It could be Rudolph, actually, yeah. That could be what it could have been flying around there. And did they change the name from UFO to UAP to normalise it, to give it more of a scientific name? But yeah, but it was to get rid of a lot of the stigma. It was, UAP is very pop culture, little green men sort of thing there. Technically UAP, which is unidentified anomalous phenomena, because it was obviously UFO, unidentified aerial phenomena, so something strange in the sky, and then it was unidentified flying objects, sorry, and then it was unidentified unidentified aerial phenomena, so something strange in the sky, is a bit more accurate there, be a bit vaguer, but also more correct. And there's unidentified anomalous phenomena now, which is because it also is in the sea, it's transmedium there, so it's kind of to bring it more legitimacy there, but also to be more technically correct. I'm old school, I like a UFO. Everybody knows what you mean when you say a UFO there. Let's have a look over on the things there. Oh, yes. Oh, and it'd be easier if we all communicate via the same stuff. It would be. I mean, YouTube's was initially just as a backup, but it has suddenly switched over to being, at the minute, it's roughly equal busyness there, but the last couple of days it's been far busier there. Further you do, see, TikTok is a little bit more finicky. It will give us bans every now and again, but at least you're over here now there. And could most satellites there, Adam, be a hoax? And a lot of what we see are UAPs there. So I mean, it is possible. You definitely, I think, correct in the sense that what we're seeing tonight, I'm going to put in the hard rule that we need to see it do that strange anomalous behaviour there for us to say it's definitely not a satellite. But it doesn't mean that those objects are all satellites. I think statistically, there's just, I think there's about 15 to 16,000 man-made satellites up there in orbit. If there's 15, 16,000 UFOs up there, I think we've got a problem. I think it's always got to be a lot less, otherwise there's going to be an issue, If there's more UFOs than there are aircraft, that's just do the maths on that. What does that mean? So I think there's going to always be less up there. So statistically, majority are. But even if they don't do that behaviour, are they definitely a satellite? No, not definitely there. I mean, anything up there is going to reflect that sun's light back to us the same as those satellites are. Be it a satellite, be it a UFO, so you're going to reflect that light back to us. And the most efficient path between 2 points there, between A and B, is going to be a straight line. So it's going to look like a straight line moving at a steady speed most of the times. It's quite a high bar that we're setting. We need ET to realise he's left his keys behind and do a handbrake turn on the screen there. But it's the only way from down here that we can be sure. We can sort of track a lot of the satellites, and Harker is doing a fantastic job in the chat there of identifying some of those ones that are coming over our screen as they're coming in. But it is really, really difficult to do, and not all of them are listed, so it's not a hard rule. But if we see something, stop dead and shoot off at speed there, do an interstellar handbrake turn, satellites just can't do that. It breaks the physics for the satellite. So immediately we don't have technology that we're aware of that we can do that, so immediately it goes to the UFO category there, and that's why we're looking for that sort of behaviour mostly there. But it's a brilliant question there, Adam, there, and B2 is slow there is what they're told the satellites are, yeah. And it's always satellites, drones, or swamp gas. And I'm less skeptical of that now, because I've been caught out a few times. And I go, you know what? I can see how people mistake these sorts of things. But this is the thing. Just because most of the sightings will probably, or statistically, be explainable, that's just how the world works. But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't keep looking, because if you don't know, we had somebody in here yesterday, and they were coming in with the typical, they're satellites. They go, yes, we know most of them are going to be satellites. We're not actually idiots, But what we're doing is we are still giving our time to look for those odd cases that aren't. We're still filtering it out. We're panning for gold. It's the same thing, That's like going, oh yes, they're all satellites. That's the same as going to the gold miner, going, that's mostly soil and sediment. Yeah, but there's gold in there. You just got to put in the work, and you've got to look. And maybe one day you won't get it, but if you keep working, we think it's worth it. There you go. Here's a plane.
Zoom mode activated.
So this is a good example of what planes look like to us as they're coming in on screen. So they're quite distinct when you get a plane. Just think that if I zoom out then for scale, so they're quite distinct. So it's a good example to see that. But this is the thing that we're doing. You say, well, we know there's a lot of satellites up there, and that's what we're looking to show. Yeah, but they're mostly satellites there. There's so many satellites. Yeah, we know it's going to be a hard job, but some people still choose to do that. High risk or high reward. And what's funny is it doesn't have to be this out of the this adjacent, this sort of subject matter to do it, because you've got sort of your typical businessman with your quarterly reports and all of that sort of your shareholder value meetings versus the entrepreneur. And the entrepreneur going, you know what? I reckon we should go and build this thing. I'm going to put a lot of money into this, and I'm going to take a high risk bet. All of the business people go, hell no, that ain't me. They're both in business, but one is the incremental stable searching, and one is the high risk, high reward type. Archaeologists and treasure hunters, it's the same paradigm there. And it's the same with us, versus sort of some of the mainstream scientists there. There are scientists out there that are looking for techno-signatures or biosignatures on those distant worlds. And it's us here doing this, going, look, it's high risk, high reward, isn't it? It doesn't mean you shouldn't look. So that's a brilliant point there with that, LJ. And Jonathan there, see the craft, they won't abduct me. I would drive to drink with my questions. Jonathan, if I could get over my terror in that situation, 100% then, it'd drop you straight back off. When I feel multiple sphere orbs, UAP, I could see some with the naked eye, although not on my phone screen. So that's interesting. There's something obviously about your phone not perceiving that. I wonder if that's going to be a light frequency thing. We do know that a lot of these objects operate in the infrared, so we can't perceive that with the human eye either. So we have to normally rely on electronic devices for that. But maybe what's the difference between the human eye where you could see it the phone, or you couldn't now. Maybe it's refresh rate, frame rate. And if you're waiting to film them, you will have a long wait there. More chance of getting a council house on the moon. I think that is the thing, and that's part of what we're doing now, is trying to figure out what lenses to use. And it seems obvious now, but we don't know what part of the sky they're going to be in. So when I was getting lenses, I was focusing on letting in enough light to see the majority of observables that we can. But then I've had to go, right, we need it to be as zoomed out, not zoomed in, as possible. We need to see as much of the sky as possible, because we don't know if it's going to be over there, it's going to be over here, it's going to be there. It's going to be a difficult one there. And tell your friends, this is a great little community. It is, and that is what I love about it there, LJ, is our little community of people that we meet up with every night. We have a chat, we hang around, and we're doing the work, we're putting in, aren't we? And we're hoping to get those a piece of evidence, and we get anomalous things a lot of the time there. But remember as well, guys, you can join us over on the Discord as well. Lots of interesting UFO related subjects as well, plus just normal community things there. But the personal experience section is my favourite. A lot of you guys sharing a first-hand accounts with the phenomena there, images and videos too, and I think it is a really cool that you're doing that. So you just join over there, you can have a look, or you can contribute. It's entirely up to you. We'll be doing our Alien Movie Club this Friday as well there, so join us for that. We're all going to be sitting down and watching Paul together there, and they tell you what they want you to believe. They do, and they think excuse me, they think that they know better with it there. And Queenie, thank you for the follow. Where are you joining us from tonight there? And you just know when you see something odd, your whole being lets you know. It's intuitive, it's your gut. And this is the thing, because you've got a lifetime of looking at things. You've got a lifetime of seeing how gravity works. How many things have you dropped? How many things have you seen in motion? You know how aerodynamics work roughly. You know if I chuck a ball with this strength, I've got it will roughly go in that sort of area there. Some people are better than others at it there, but you have all this understanding of physics that's very subconscious for most people. And then you see something there, and you might not be able to verbalize it. You're not going to go, that's 2 degrees this, or it's doing too fast for that, but you can tell in your gut there's something off. And some were in my screen, and others only to the naked eye. That's interesting. I wonder what that difference is going to be there that allowed for that there. And are Sonic's cameras any good for Skywatch? They are. The only reason that I don't use one here, well, there's 2 reasons. 1, money, and 2 is that they don't have a direct HDMI, like a video output basically. So a lot of people will have them on their iPad, and they'll film their iPad, which just isn't good quality enough for what we're doing here. So that's one of the main reasons. But they're very good in the sense that they are in the infrared as well. I think this is a little bit better quality, like clarity wise, but they are in the infrared, and that is something we still need to tackle on the stream, seeing in the infrared there as well. Exactly. And it's fantastic community there to share your stories, and that's how we get closer to that is exactly how we get closer to the truth there. We all share accounts, and personally that has been the biggest thing for me. I did not realize how common these anomalous experiences are of all types here, but I just didn't know. I thought it was still in the much more minority. But when we're having our community of sometimes in hundreds of people a night, and all different people sharing their experiences, you go, I did not know it was this prolific there, but it's just there's a thumb on the scales when it comes to the media that does not get circulated up within the community. We self-filter. We're filtered out through those processes there. I think once that's in that stigma really does go, and it is starting to go, but once it really does go, then we will, I think, be free to realise that actually quite a lot of people we know have had experiences, if not directly ourselves. I think it's been much more common, and that is a vital information there. I've just noticed the time. How you doing, M2C? And I've got to go off because I've got to be on a train soon. But I do appreciate you all. And we'll catch you all tomorrow night. So about 9:30 again tomorrow night at UK time. We're going to be live. Another Skywatch. We're looking for the strange anomalous. Hope to see you all there. Make sure you're following, subscribed, whatever it is there, so you get those notifications when we go live. But we are in for about 9:30 PM UK there. Should be another fantastically clear night, so looking forward to seeing you all then. Do appreciate you all there, and years ago we never had as much info to pass on. Now this is the thing, there is a lot of info now as well. Then it becomes its own problem. That is one of the biggest problems in the SETI search, in the searching for either the visual signals, stars doing strange things, or radio signals being sent to us there is just too much data to process in a reasonable time frame. And I thought millions were telling lies there. Saw my first UFO in 2014 with a spiritual awakening. And it opens up, all of a sudden the world is a little bit weirder, but also a little bit more possible than it was before there. So something definitely awakes there. So thank you guys again tonight there. But yeah, we'll see you all hopefully tomorrow evening and tomorrow night time there. Have a great Tuesday, and thank you for joining us there. I love you all, and yeah, keep your eyes to the skies. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.